So what do you got there, Britton?
The shrimp quesadilla with like extra cheese, because cheese is.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, welcome to episode 23 of Backbreakers and Bites. We're here with bare-knuckle champion Britton Hart. We're your hosts, Dan, Ricky. Again, it's not Eric the Chef Garcia. Britton, why'd you pick this spot?
You know, it's not Tuesday, but I think that every day is made for tacos. I love taco love. And I just think it's one of the best foods that you can have. I've never gotten tired of it. It's always, it just hits the spot as it's protein, it's dairy, has everything.
Thank you.
Carbs in it. So it's like a fully balanced meal when I think about it. And it's easy.
Sounds good. And thank you. I forgot to name the restaurant, but you did it. So thank you for that.
You're the only one that didn't cheer.
There we go. What is that?
It's a ghost.
He doesn't even drink water. It's just that all day.
That's right, Ghost. Please sponsor me. I can't afford this anymore.
Us.
No, just me.
You know, it's really cool. Mark Coleman come out with an energy drink through Brawl Energy.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I actually did see that.
Did you meet Mark Coleman?
Mm-hmm.
I have actually. I love Mark Coleman. He's been somebody, we're both hustlers and both have like big agendas and big hearts. And so I think that we really get it when we're doing our own little projects. And sometimes, you know, as time goes by, we'll blink and months will pass. But he's been someone who's been like a super encouraging, supporting backbone for me and our team. He always gives me, you know, like, hey, if he sees me slipping up on Instagram or it looks like, you know, I'm just eating tacos all the time, he'll be like, are you in the gym too? And I'm like, yeah, I just don't show that. It's a secret.
have I been tripping, or has he not been posting much?
You know,
because he was going crazy for a minute with the 9 ancestral tenets from Liver King and every post.
Yeah, and carnivore.
Yeah, he was going nuts.
Sober's cool.
He's completely sober now, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
so
he's got to be. Dude almost died like twice now.
Yeah, so he does preach. He does really preach that, and which is cool. You know, I love seeing him around. It's crazy. I went to this one event in Tampa, not even knowing I was.
Was that the wheelchair circus thing?
No, it wasn't.
I just saw that. Did you see it?
No, but it makes me laugh. Wait, that's a thing?
Oh, he literally fought a guy sitting in a wheelchair.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They have guys pushing him around and they box each other.
Okay.
He knocked the dude out.
Yeah. You know what? I think I did see something, but I was thinking it was in a different country or like something.
Oh, no, that's here.
Wow.
It's as American as you can get.
There we go.
I think really cool. I think Rampage Jackson did something with Bob Sapp too. I forgot. It was,
yeah.
What was that? Yeah, it's called Fight Circus.
Yeah.
Look that shit up if you want to laugh.
I will. That's neat though. But it's cool they give people that different opportunities. I wonder how that would be fighting, sitting down.
Yeah, you don't control your angles. It's got to be crazy.
Yeah. Or if you see them, they cut the wheel real hard. You're like,
it happened. Guy fell out the chair. Totally.
No way.
Yeah. But you saw Mark Coleman in Tampa. My bad. I jumped in there with that crazy shit.
I was like, wait, now I feel bad. I'm like the worst friend ever sometimes. But I know he gets it. So he'll be okay with that and be like, well, that's great, Britt. You were in the gym. And I'm like, yeah, see, we're all good. But he was commentating. And so I was like, oh, we were both commentating the same fight and didn't even realize it. But one of my favorite things about him that I try to like, you know, they say imitation is like the highest form of flattery, which I do actually kind of see that and agree to a strong point. But he used to do these belly flops in the pool with his shoes on. You guys remember that when he was all the time belly flopping?
I don't know.
I do remember.
I feel like I was asleep during that. Like, what?
It was a little phase. And I don't know why, but for me, it was the coolest thing ever. Like, I was like, yo, he did it with his shoes on. You know, he was all hype. You know, carnivore, sober's cool.
All right, so this was recent.
It was like a year ago, probably.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking, I'm going to do that. And so I went to Guatemala and started it in Guatemala. Belly flop with my clothes on and shoes on. And I was like, yo, I thought I was so cool for it too. Like, I really got a kick out of it. Everyone around me got a kick out of it. And it was just kind of one of those silly, stupid things that make people's day, but it was fun. So I started doing it. And then I got like more often. And then I got a chance to go up to Ohio and be right next to him. And he's like, come on, Britton. And we did it together.
Oh, that's awesome.
We did a double belly flop with our fully clothed. It's not like we're in bathing suits or anything, which I think is funnier. And I don't know, it was one of my highlights of 2024.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which sounds so silly, but it, being the truth, I'm like, yeah, I belly flop with Mark Coleman.
Yeah,
It's
Mark's
so
one of
fucking
those
cool.
few guys that was like really a character.
Yeah.
Like, damn, back in the old school MMA, you had so many characters. You're like losing that now.
Yeah. Oh, right. I
That's
feel
true.
that way big time about combat sports in general. Like, and that's when you go, sometimes people think, oh, I'm just going to watch, UFC or watch BKFC or watch this boxing. But if you don't have a name that catches it, and not just any name, it's got to be like, oh, what are they going to do this time? Like, it's kind of like the unpredictability that we love and look and crave for in sports. But you still want it to be familiar with, hey, I know that person because, they're like me. They do stupid stuff like belly flop in a
Yeah,
pool,
100%.
or that person's such an asshole, but I totally get what he means. Or, this person's a dentist and always talking about breaking teeth. Like those.
Did you just provide a gimmick for someone?
I think I got it from WWE or wrestling. I think her name is Britt Baker.
Yo, you got to try this.
I think
Actually,
she's so
can
cool.
you get?
It's
can you
not
get the napkins?
spicy at all.
No. That's funny. I love tacos, right? Love.
Can you handle
Love.
spice?
I hate spice.
I can't handle it.
And I don't like salsa unless it
That's-
has mango in it.
That was the joke though,
Shut up.
because every
Dude,
time I order like the hottest shit somewhere, it's not that hot. This actually got me for a second.
Dude, I'll sweat for 30 minutes straight. My back all wet.
From
Okay,
being
my
spicy.
head, I can't handle it. Even Cholula, I can't handle it. I was going to ask you, you don't have a nickname, right? It's just Britain Hart. Have you ever thought of any names?
So you guys are going to get a kick out of this because
I have
not a lot
two.
of people know it. I've had, I'm probably going to be one of those infamous fighters that goes down that had so many names, but I made it cool, Because when I first started, you won't guess what my name was, my boxing name when I started pro boxing for like 5 fights.
He looks like he knows it.
Yeah, you'll never guess. It was on my chunks for 5 fights and it was announced this way. And I remember every time it was announced, I was like, oh my God, I hated it.
All right, I hear it.
Blonde Bomber.
Oh, I feel like I did see that.
Who came up with that?
My manager at the time, which is, my name is Britain. So I'm thinking, I'm Great Britain.
Mhm.
I do kind of
That's a good one.
naturally have like that, I like corny stuff. Like it generally makes my day, kind of have that personality. So it's funny, for those on social media that call me corny or that new stupid word cringe, I'm like, that's kind of what I do. Like that's me. It's been me from like day one. But
Listen, you're doing stuff.
whatever.
I'm pretty sure they're sitting on the couch writing all those messages. Those people.
I just laugh. It's kind of funny because the hate that I get is almost like it's comical.
That's wild.
In funny ways. Like, oh, I was being funny and a nice person, and now I'm cringy or corny. I'm like, well, I was kind of going for the whole, puns and stuff. But the Great Britain, I was like, yo, I love it. I used to hashtag the British are coming all the time. I really, I'm 98%.
Do you have British roots or?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. It works then.
Yep, 98%. I did the whole 2030.
Oh, shit.
So I really hold true to that
Really?
whole. Yeah, 98% United Kingdom and then 2% Italian. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of like,
I think if you're white, you got to have a little Italian in there.
right, or, you just can't. It's funny because unless you have a British accent, you can't really go around and be like, let's go.
Well, yeah, technically all Americans are just British people that lost their accents and fought back against Britain. So
Right.
it's tough.
It
It's
is.
tough.
So I'm like, man, I don't have anyone. I chose some people I was Colombian for like the longest time before 23andMe. So I wasn't like necessarily lying because in my heart, I kind of believed it. And that's why the 23andMe got ordered in the first place. And they were like, oh, bitch, no. You are white. Because I used to tell people, I'm like, I'm not white. I'm caramel. Like I'm caramel. I don't know what. My parents adopted me from some Colombians. And this is just my life now. And they're like, no.
Can't escape it. Can't escape the whiteness.
So now that I know it's on paper, I was kind of upset about it. But I did fully immerse. Like I love, my heritage in that aspect of I want to go to Great Britain and London is really cool. And they have like crumpets and tea. And, there's a lot of great things that United Kingdom provides. And then Italy, of course, is way cool. It's cool to be Italian, but
Yeah, Italy's badass. You been there?
no, I haven't
Oh,
actually. One place I haven't. I'm like a really big time world traveler. I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, I see that.
Italy is one I've never been to.
You got to go.
Yeah.
I finally went last year, and like being by the Coliseum is one of the craziest things like ever.
Wow. And I hear BKFC's having a fight in the Coliseum.
Oh, are they going to do it in the Coliseum?
Wow.
Yep. That's what they told me.
I thought that was reserved for Musk and
right?
what's his name? Zuckerberg.
You would think that, but I mean, I didn't hear it straight from BKFC's mouth.
That shit doesn't even have a floor, though. I want to know how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
That's
You'd be
what
like,
They're going to figure it out.
they were like,
I don't think you
get
can
on
sell
that
too
car.
many seats either. Yeah, definitely get on that
Yeah,
car.
they're like, it's going to be in the Coliseum. I was like, whoa, wait, no way. And I know Spain was just epic because it was in that bullfighting thing.
Yeah.
Like it really does add. And then my last fight,
100%.
Sturges, seeing all those motors, like the venue and that atmosphere and energy, it really can make or break a fight. And you wouldn't think it, but it does.
So how did that feel being like, because I feel like bare knuckle, people that aren't like into martial arts and stuff, it kind of feels like a biker gang type thing. So like,
it was cool.
did you feel like that was like fucking with the stereotype a little bit?
I've been around, I'm not like huge, like, I don't ride motorcycles all the time or anything like that or drive them, but I grew up in a motorcycle family and my family has a lot of motorcycle presence and the people I'm around. And really, it's kind of cool because they are badass but they are softies too and angels inside. Like they want to be nice and provide and do within their community. They're very loyal.
Yeah, it's all about family, right?
Yeah, like I love bikers. Like if I meet bikers, I seriously can't even think of one that I don't like. Like, and they'll have gruff, like they'll be like, what are you looking at? And most of the time, if you're like, oh, I was just, your bike's so cool. Like, they're like, oh, wow, come on, check it out. You just got to know how to respond to those people. And sometimes people like to test and you got to hold your own too and not be like mean or, disrespectful back. But hey, this is what it is. And I think that's the only time I had biker one time be mean and like aggressive, like, what are you looking at type of thing. And I was like, well, your bike. And, and everything was cool after that. So to me, they're the sweetest, nicest people. Actually another Mickey's Tiki bar here in Florida is a big biker bar. And those, oh my God, I love those guys every time I go in there. So it was cool to go to Sturges and they followed me and be like, wow. But same thing in Sturges. You think these tough, rough, badass people are like, will you get on my bike? Will you get on my bike? And I was like, whoa,
fanning out.
Yeah, it was so unbelievable. Honestly, they made it for me. The fans there, and even after the fight, when I got out of the ring and went in like the crowd, like I don't really know any of those people. I'm meeting them for the first time. They treated me with so much respect and awe and made me feel badass. They're like, dude, you were just going in there. Can I get a picture? Like they were just so like complimentary. It was a cool, amazing thing. One of my favorite fights stand out.
So you mentioned, you just mentioned a very not obscure wrestler, but you watch wrestling?
I do, yeah.
All right.
But I'm not a diehard fan, but I do watch.
No, I was just going to say there's like parallels there. You almost kind of feel like the Undertaker coming out with all the bikes and shit.
Yeah, right? Oh man, we had fun like thinking and dreaming of these fights. It's honestly one of my favorite things about fighting is thinking, all right, how are we going to go in there and make it like bigger than just what it is?
Yeah,
like,
pull that wrestling shit in there.
Right. Like, how do we capitalize? Like, that Shania Twain walkout song was so intent and purposeful and so masterly planned out. There's so many hidden, deep rooted things in that people probably wouldn't realize or get it. But to me, it was a hard decision because I'm working with Lab 111 and I love those guys equally too. They're great. And we produce music together. And we have this awesome song called Nah. You got to check it out. I'm not in it as far as audio, but I'm definitely in the music video and was there during the recording process. So I have like high attachment to that song. But I didn't walk out to that song in Sturges. And it killed me to do it because I was like, man, like I'm a ride or die with my people. But I knew that with that crowd and those particular people, and so many people are like, that crowd is just that crowd. Like, what about the millions of people watching? I'm like, no. There's something about playing in a wrestling, knowing that when the crowd sees you, they're going to be able to relate to you, be with you, be a part of it. And if they don't get the song or it's not their genre, you lost like such a big moment. So I chose to like, follow my heart on that, which if people really love you and rock with you, they'll understand, which ultimately Lab 111 was super great about. They were on my, the road that they custom made. So their logo was still a biggest logo. and we got it out. And that song is still in the works, and it might come out in this next fight. You never know. But it was definitely like thought about one of those like, don't do it. But yes, you got to do it solely for those fans.
How has your fan interaction been ever since you became champion? Did you start getting noticed immediately once you won the title? People say, "Oh, there's Brayton walking down the street, and can I take a picture?"
Yeah, I think it was definitely. I felt like early in my career, I have a much different story than a lot of fighters. I didn't put boxing gloves on until I was 26. Billy Blanks is actually the one who taught me.
Billy Blanks, what the hell was this shit called? Tae Bo. Yeah. I had that shit in college.
Guys,
really?
That was what I grew, like. That's what I grew up working out to, just so like as a female to stay in shape and like a fun workout. But that's how I learned to box. So when I put gloves on for the first time at 26, all these people were like, "You lied to you've been boxing. Where have you been boxing before?" And I'm like, "No, this is my first time." They're like, "Liar, you played us, like poker face. What gym have you been working out?" I'm like, "This is my
Tae Bo
first
gym
time." And I was like, maybe it was Billy Blanks. And they're like, "Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're an idiot." I went pro 4 months later. Literally, no amateur fights. I didn't go to any smokers at that time, although I'm sure I had definitely my fair share of bare-knuckle fights and like street fights. And I was unfortunately like someone who was in domestic violence. So my ex-husband, and I had to go to the hospital. Like my vocal cords got like crushed because of him.
This is back in
2016.
Okay, 2016.
Right when I first started, when I was 26 years old.
Is that when you were in working for the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, I was. Yep.
So how do you go from 2015, 2016 working for the Carolina Panthers to becoming the bare-knuckle champion? What made you take up boxing? For the defense?
Yeah, I think it was that. Well, because I was in the abusive relationship, like, we're don't make the best decisions. And so I do take accountability in that way, that I was really sad and lost person. Even working at the Panthers, I remember like the few years that I worked there for 5 years, so not few years, but the first.
What'd you do with the Panthers?
Oh man, it was the coolest. So the first year sounds so stupid, but it's a really great thing for people to know, because nobody really gets this, and it's a dying thing in the younger generations. But I was a bathroom attendant. Sounds so stupid, but I was in a bathroom and made sure it was clean and had to check them every quarters. But I got the cool bathrooms, like the high dollar bathrooms. But I was a bathroom attendant. I did my job so good and so awesome. But the second year, they like halfway through the season, someone got sick in the undercover department, which I think is really cool. But then people are like, "Oh, you're a snitch." But no, get that right. I'm not. But they pulled me in to replace someone who quit. It was an undercover.
Oh shit.
And so with that job, there was no more uniforms or bathrooms. Literally, we had this cool app. And what happens is if someone's being like unruly or a bad fan or drunk or something, people gonna have that anonymous text system, but you can't just go and kick someone out because someone
like a stadium marshal.
Kind of, yeah. So I would go when people would say, "Oh, there's a sector, 501, row 13, CE." I would go and just sit. I had my jersey on.
I didn't know this existed. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was this during the Cam Newton days?
Yeah, it definitely was a Cam Newton.
All right, so it was a good Panthers time.
Oh yeah, I was working with them when they went to Super Bowl. So
that's awesome.
It was way exciting for me. Which I didn't go, thank God, because what a horrible game. But to get that energy and say that I worked with them, and I saw every single game for 5 seasons, I didn't miss a home game. I watched every single game. And it was in that time that they were like, South on lock.
Yeah.
Shit. Like they were really good. But anyways, and I would see, and if I saw that they were just being normal fans, I'd be like, they're fine. Like they're just enjoying the game, like leave them alone. But if it was something that was like, I think I did it 2 times in my whole, I think I did that particular job for 3 years. I maybe ejected 2 people, and I'd be like, yeah, they need to go, get out of here.
But you were probably being nice too, right? Like, this guy's a little drunk, but he's having fun.
Yeah, I was super nice about it because I know what it's like to be a fan and be passionate. And you got to understand like what those fans attract. We're drinking,
Right.
You know, and if you give them a warning, do they act better and be like, oh, chill? Do they recover from the behavior? So it wasn't like that big of a deal, but it was super fun and enjoyable for me to go from being in the bathrooms to now I'm watching a game, Jersey. And really, the Bank of America, I give them so many like lavish praise and how well their organization is run. I'm telling you, it is the safest, best stadium. And I've gone to like 20 different NFL stadiums. It is by far the best one. I'm not saying that because I work there. It's just they have their shit so tight and like down to a T that like you don't have those problems there. Like I might have had like per game 5 text message alerts.
Yeah.
So you got to think a whole 4 quarters. I'm like doing 5 different things max.
I wonder how Philly's undercover program is.
I don't know. Who knows? But then, so I'm doing that. Love my life. Then they asked if I wanted to work in the ticket office for the ADA department. And there's only 2 people that have that role. Because undercover, I think I was like a team of like 30. So there's with bathroom attendants, it's like.
Is that a step down or a step up?
So you were climbing.
Yeah.
You were climbing a ladder.
Huge step up, like huge step.
Just on work ethic.
Yeah, just on work ethic and being there. And I was always like eager. I was always happy. Like it didn't matter. Like when I saw people, I'd be like, yo, are we going to clean these bathrooms or what? And they'd be like, yeah, it was very, when people would come out and be like, so I'm stuck in here. How's the game? Like just dumb bullshit. But if you're going to do something, you're going to be there anyways. Kind of like boxing and fighting. If I'm going to get punched in the face, I might as well like doing it or enjoy it or find something out of it. So if you're going to go through anything, it's going to suck either way. Like, let's try to make it the best we can. So I adopted that really early in my life. And that's something that I've always been pretty true to. Besides, like, that's what I said. That was the worst time of my life, was losing who I was and my identity through this abusive relationship. And then, so again, I'm having the coolest job with the Panthers and bumped up to the ticket office. I worked for the ADA, were you still
in that relationship during this time, or no? You were already done.
It started in the time. So my first 3 years with the Panther were awesome. They were amazing, but it just shows you what a toxic relationship can do. Because I had the time of my life as a bathroom attendant, time of my life as a secret, undercover person for the game. And then when I was working in the ticket office, we're doing things like taking kids down to the locker room to meet the players.
That's
for
cool.
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, that's my job. Like, when people are in wheelchairs, like I get to see them and be like, hey, how are you? Because they have to have the same viewing experience that other people have. That's what's making it fair, like with their disability. If they can't hear, we give them special hearing units. Like what they can't see, they get closer up. We have like designated handicap things so they don't have to climb the stairs, all sorts of different things. People with cancer, people, coming in that we want to just make their life a little bit better.
Yeah, it's awesome to be part of that.
And I was that person. And in that should have made me the happiest. Like that's a dream job for me. But because I was in this abusive relationship, the last year of it on my fifth year,
hell.
It was hell. It was like very not present. I'd be there and I'd be like,
you don't want to go home.
I was just, I remember, and I feel super bad saying this. I hope they still think like I'm a great employee, but I remember a couple of the games, not all of them. But again, I didn't have that many responsibilities. I would go hide in the stairwell. Like I would go and I know everything was good. And I would just sit in the stairwell and just sit there and like literally just watch the clock tick down. Like I hated my life. Like it was horrible. It was sad. I was like, I don't even know who to be. Like talking to people was very hard for me. I just felt like, I couldn't be present. Like you could tell me something and it would just float through me. It was a horrible feeling. So I didn't want, how horrible. Now I feel bad, but now I'm knowing like, oh, you're talking to me, telling me about something and I didn't hear what you said. How does that make you feel? So I felt like I was just better off being away from everyone. So I was very isolated. I shut myself off from all my friends and family, and that had horrible side effects and negative effects on me. And I started drinking and coping with it different ways. And finally, people were like accusing me of being on drugs. And I'm like, dude, I'm just sad. I'm not doing drugs. I'm sad.
I'm fucking depressed.
Yeah.
Fucking
and then they put all that on me, and it really.
You really saw who your friends were during that time, right?
I had nobody. To where they're like, maybe you should go to a boxing gym, and I kind of I didn't have a license at the time. I had 3 bonds out in 3 different court systems, and it gets challenging to say this. I don't really actually talk about it that much because it's like your friend that comes and says, oh, it's not my fault. All right, first time. Okay, it's not. Shit happens every day.
Right.
Second time. All right, it's not my fault. All right. Now I know what it sounds like. If I told you all the things that happened to me and I looked at you and said, it's not my fault. I got, here's one crazy one. So I have a felony. I'm not convicted, but there is a felony that I was charged with and had to go through and deal with for a year and a half, which is to everyone, going through felony charges is bullshit.
A position that you were put in.
Yeah. And you want to know what it is? And everyone's like, oh, Britton, you suck at life. You're getting charged. You're a felon, blah, blah, blah. And it's not.
I can't believe people
I'm not
actually
even convicted of the shit yet.
I just can't believe people actually talk so much shit.
So much shit. It's very biblical. I really felt very, very biblical. And where they say Jesus, there's no prophet safe in a hometown. My hometown ripped me to pieces. My family ripped me to pieces. And it was to the point where I'm telling people, and I really just had this conversation with someone else, I was even accused hardcore of being on heroin. I had to go and get blood tests, hair, my piss tests weren't good enough. I would pass. There was no inkling for them to drug test me for that. And I would pass, and they would say, "Oh, you fabricated it. I can't even remember what they said.
You manipulated it?
Fake piss.
Yeah, something like that. I'm trying to think of what that word is when you
what
use
is that
fake
word?
piss.
Yeah, that is true.
You falsified your test.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, are you kidding me? They made me get a hair follicle test.
Was this all because of that guy?
Yeah, all because of that guy. Because he was doing those things. And so for me, it was really hard because I'm like, oh, he loves me. He if he wasn't on these drugs that the symptoms are violent mood swings, he would never do that. And he was going to counseling. So it wasn't like he was a total piece of shit in my mind. Then I was like, well, he's trying to get better.
Trying to salvage the relationship.
And we're married. So it's what happened, for better or for worse. I really took that attitude with the wrong person. And no one could really understand that, at the time. And even now, could I go back in time and fix it? Yeah, I absolutely would. But do I know that my heart was in the right place? It absolutely was. Is it really sad now that I have to worry and have my radar on? Are they really telling me the truth? That sucks for me. But at the same time, I would rather help someone, which goes back to so what? Now here I am arguing with you guys trying to say, I didn't do heroin. That's not the point of the story. The point of this, I don't care if I was on it. I don't care if I'm telling you that I was shooting up every day. It was the fact that my friends and family didn't come to me and say, hey, let's get you drug counseling. Let's put you
right. We want to help you.
Let's help you and give you a chance to fix it first. Instead, boom, jail. Boom. They had a private investigator follow me. Again, if you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it. We're human at the end of the day. Dude, if I have a private investigator in anyone, I bet you that's what we're paying for. They're going to come back with something that can be construed.
I was going to ask you this later on, but this is perfect time to ask you, would you rather have a pause button or a rewind button?
That is such a good one. I think about that all the time. I'm telling you, I got it so hardwired in my brain. If I could have any superpower, I would manipulate time. That is the number one thing to me.
Really?
But
I'll be invisible.
Choice. Yeah, no. I would.
Invisible and do the worst shit
so
possible.
Basic.
Well,
so
not
basic.
that. I'm talking about robbing a bank.
Yeah. That's why time comes in. Pause, just stroll in and get back. But I'm the type of person, I feel like I'm very Robin Hoodish as well too. If I stole from a bank, it would be because they were fucked up and did something wrong, and I'm giving it to people who need it. But
right.
It would be one of those things.
So pause. So pause button would be your answer?
Yeah, I think over rewind, because I do think we learn things. And if I say all right, again, with abusive relationship, and he hit me over something so ridiculously and stupid. If I rewound it, and I'd be like, oh, well, if I rewound it, I would have probably not done the thing to make him angry. And then I would have never experienced that.
Correct.
But then I would have never saw the true person he was. So if I can pause it and
that's a good answer. Yeah.
then I could be like,
think about it.
pack all my stuff and get away and not be like, because sometimes when you're in those moments, and that's why I'm like, I've done a really good job the last 2 years of healing. Like I'm pretty healed on this.
I was going to ask you, like, how did that affect your future relationships? Like, you start seeing red flags immediately? Were you able to identify them?
Yeah, I would. And it would be really like,
you're like, I'm out.
Problematic. Like, and I remember one of the other relationship after the main one that really, I've had two in my life. Everything else, and I feel bad because I think everyone misconstrues my daughter's dad. There's Zach Hart. He's probably going to hate me for this. But when I talk about this, because I am a little bit open about it if somebody asks, he'll be like, damn it, Britton, people are messaging me saying I'm a piece of shit. And I'm not, because he was my first husband. So unfortunately and tragically, I've been married and divorced 3 times with 3 completely different situations. But he never did that. So my first marriage was just a matter of high school, shotgun wedding, do the right thing. Guy's a great guy. He's a great dad. Obviously we had problems, but it,
just grew apart.
Yeah. And he's great.
Still friends.
Still friends. We're still awesome friends. So I feel so bad that he ever gets any. And it was probably really sad for him to see, like, and he did bring it up, like, dude, you thought I was bad. You left me for this fucking guy. What the hell is wrong with you? And he's definitely not far off. But with this one, it was like, so anyways, I got into another relationship. We didn't get married, but it was really just as abusive. But it was so like, I don't even know. I think I was in like just a bizarre time with that learned behavior through him. And I remember he actually took me by the back of my head and slammed it against the steering wheel and started punching me that it slit my lip. So one of these scars on my lip isn't actually from, well, it is a bare-knuckle fight, but it was done in a car by my boyfriend at the time. And I remember being so fucking scared and being like, dude, I opened the car door to get out. I was bleeding everywhere. It was like pouring blood. My eyes were swollen shut. It really pisses me off when people are like, well, weren't you a fighter at this time? Like, why didn't you fight back? I'm like, dude, I was blindsided. Like, I'm driving my car.
Well, and it's a grown man.
And I'm in a seatbelt. And sometimes you're just like...
You're not expecting that.
Yeah, you're not expecting it. So I got out and started running thinking, dude, this guy is going to kill me. He gets in, he hops over from the passenger into the driver's seat and then closes the door. And this is like February. So it's like 23 degrees outside because it's in Virginia. And I'm like, what? Yeah, pause button. Pause button. Because now I'm thinking, man, I was escaping from my life, but now I'm in the middle of this country ass road in Virginia. And it's 23 degrees. I'm bleeding. And this guy just went off with my truck. What an idiot, at the end of the day. But what was the saddest thing about that is all the cars that went by. And I'm like, obviously, seriously.
Yeah.
And
Nobody stopped?
Nobody stopped. I would go to doors. I walked and went on doors and knocked on doors. Nobody would answer. Finally, somebody opened the window and they saw me. And they're like, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
Well, it's like the world we live in now, though. Everyone's scared of everybody.
They were so scared to help me that the girl left. Her husband came to the door. They didn't open the door for me and they talked through me through the window.
Damn.
Called an ambulance. Ambulance came. The police come. They're telling me, the license plate number obviously is a blue truck. It's not going to get that far. Da-da-da. And I remember being in the ambulance just like, what the fuck? I wasn't crying or anything like that until someone handed me this card. And it was a domestic violence shelter for women. And I've been there before. And I just started bawling, crying. And they're like, it's okay. This happens a lot. It's not your fault. And I'm like, it is my fault because I've been here before. I've known this. Like, I should have seen these red flags.
Were there signs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was just, I can't even, I'd really have to like sit down. I really think like a black hole that, like sometimes we deal with that with trauma, like rather than digress it and see why or what, it's just like, dude, it happened, but I want to forget about it and I want to just bury it. But, it's probably something that I could look into and think why. And I still really don't know why. but it was a bizarre thing. It was really bizarre. And after that, I was single for like a really long time. And so I met my, what's his name? Because I black holed him as well. So I talk really limited about him, although it was never like violent and it never was that. So I put that out there.
Is that the Mexicutioner?
Yeah, but that marriage was, it was honestly a bunch of other little things.
That's where I first saw you. I'm like,
yeah.
Who's this girl hugging this guy?
Right.
I mean, they shouldn't be together.
Yeah, we shouldn't have.
A pure, like, just being a hater. I'm like, they shouldn't be together. It should be with somebody else.
Yeah, but he did. I will say with him, and I should have known. I should have known better. So
he's out of BKFC, right?
I think so. I kind of I got threatened on that. So I again, can't talk very minimal about it, which sucks. It was probably a good thing though, but it kind of adopts, I don't know if silence is the right thing, but it does make the drama and we move, we'll never talk to each other ever again.
Right.
And whatever anyone wants to make, I think it's kind of better left on that. That story, I'm sure will be told one day.
I mean, I think karma got him before he got to you. Did you ever see that promo he cut in UFC where he tried to say his tagline and nobody responded?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was UFC 80 or 90 something.
No way.
I didn't really know who he was, but I think I was in college watching it and he's like, don't fear me, fear the crickets. It was, oh God, when you feel that secondhand embarrassment?
Man, it was sad. I felt, honestly, it was really, really sad. And I have to thank him for one big thing. He is textbook on athletes and fighters when they go past their prime. And it was really sad and challenging and hard for me to live through that and go through that. I guess that's one thing I can say.
Watching him not perform the way he should.
Yeah. And then, we never want to give up on our dreams, right? And if I love you and in love with you and you're like, I want to go take this fight, how wrong of it is for me to be like, don't do it. And then that will be turned into you again, very tight. Oh, are you going to say I'm going to lose? You don't believe in me. Blah, blah, blah.
And fighters need that person, though. A lot of people, they don't want to quit.
Right. And so sad because a lot of men, so not targeting him or talking shit about, a lot of men and fighters are like that.
Yeah,
so I was really put in this horrible situation, what to do. His family, people would pull me to the side and be like, Britton, you need to tell him, if you really care about him and love him, you will tell him this and never let him fight again.
It's not that easy.
And I was like, man, why don't you tell him that? Why am I the bad guy? And so it was a really horrible weight that they put on me. So when I did do it, it was exactly, it was exactly that. And, it was just one more and and it turned into resentment. And, he really hated me, which is bizarre to say. For me, I feel like I shot at that man from the rooftops when we were together, despite red flags or despite anything. I really took on that role. Look, it's shitty. It's not the best thing, but I'm here now. Let's make it enjoyable, like a bathroom attendant.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be in this, just fucking love it. No matter what.
You were supporting him, just not in the way he expected you to.
Yeah, it was at my expense. Everything I did was wrong. He would cry all the time. It was horrible. And then when I went out to do my fight, he really tried to sabotage it. And I was like, whoa.
Oh, so he got jealous of you coming up.
That's fucking crazy.
I was like, man, I know that if I lose this fight, he'll be like, but if I win the fight, and that's what he did. And I did. I won the fight. It was horrible. No one will know besides people in Norfolk.
You couldn't even enjoy that victory.
The pain. It hurts me. I don't even watch that Jenny Savage fight.
Okay.
And if you guys go back and watch it, you'll notice. It's a very, very...
Which fight was that? The
Jenny Savage one in Norfolk. And when they put the belt on me, I actually kind of like it though for the highlight reels because it makes me look like badass and gangster and cold.
Dude, every time you win, you jump in the air and I'm like, she's so happy. That's a genuine celebration.
Nope, but there's one I'm like, dude, just put this belt on me and get me the fuck out of here.
How was the ride home?
Be here.
You like being better than me? You like being a champion?
I didn't say he told me I threw my marriage away for fighting. And I was like, well, that's,
damn.
But I get it. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things for
sad,
me.
but you can get it.
Yeah, I know it wasn't me. Like, I don't have any regrets about like, oh, what I should have done this. Like, I'm not going to be the victim like the other relationships we talked about. So I have grown. And then when I took off, we got divorced in 2023. And till May, it was really it was a really challenging time. But from May on, it was like my whole soul got reborn. In 2024, I had the best year of my entire life. And it's so sad for me to say that because I love my children and that should be the happiest years. But I'm going to keep it real and raw with you. Like, I love my children more than anything. But those years were hard. It was lonely. They were struggles. They were really, really, really hard years for me and a whole different set of problems that we're not even talking about.
So
totally different.
Is this what made you come to Florida?
Yeah, actually it is. I came down here. I was like 108 pounds. And again, just that's the type of person I am. If I'm sad and depressed, I don't know what it is. I just lose weight naturally. Where I came down here, I even knew I was like terrified people were going to think I was on drugs. I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I have to change this because this is I was even worried for myself.
That's crazy because I'm depressed since I was born. I keep gaining weight.
People are doing,
Hey, people deal with it differently, all right?
And some people get depressed and eat. And I wish I would. I remember I was
don't wish that on yourself.
I went and got like ice cream and I got a 6-pack of beer. I was like, I'm just going to chug this and get drunk. Fuck everything. And I sat there and I drank like 2 beers and I was like, oh, this sucked.
I'm totally jealous of you right now.
I couldn't do it, man. I just am sad. I get like that. I'm a very like ostrich type of person.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt anyone else. Like, I don't want my bad feelings or stuff to rub off on you. And I'm like really scared of.
So you go somewhere else.
So I'll go somewhere else.
So why Florida?
Oh, so Florida. So the reason why is because I was sitting up there losing all this weight, fucking depressed out of my mind. I was like, where was the last place you felt loved? Where was the last place you felt like you belonged? Because it damn sure wasn't there. And I thought of KO Zone in Miami. I love that gym. And they everyone there loved me so much.
So that's random as hell. But you thought of that? Why? Like, you've been here before?
Yeah, because I lived with him in Wynwood. We lived in Miami together for 2 years
real?
And trained there together.
All right.
Which you would think that would be like the last place that I would want to go to. But he never really that was like a problem in our relationship too, is like, I was thinking it was perfect because the sun's setting on him and mine was rising. And then he'd be that real backbone,
you step and be in the
get him,
coach.
Tiger.
Yeah.
That's the script. That's the way it should go.
Yeah, it was storybook, man, but it wasn't. It was competition. It's like, oh no, people are forgetting about me, and all the lights are on her, and it wasn't. And
maybe if he had gotten the glory that he wanted, but he never quite got there, so that might have been eating at him too.
Oh, it was eating him alive. You could see it. It was just, it was bad. I mean, and I don't like, he looks like, he moved, he's remarried and has a child. Like I feel like really wanted more of that type of stuff. So, he ended up finding what he needed to feel. And I feel really bad. It wasn't me, but it wasn't me, not because of who I am. It was because it is a hard lifestyle. Social media is there. People are looking at you. Women are, sexualized more than ever now.
Well, yeah, and people don't understand either. Like, I attempted to be an MMA fighter for a little bit, and I told him before, like, when we're doing this thing now, which is cool, but it took me a lot to get to where I'm like, damn, now I got to interview people doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I never got there. So people don't understand that feeling, because especially as you get older, you can't.
Yeah. And then what if you're thinking, like, what if you hear something inspirational, like, well, you never know if you try, and then you go home and it has that advert, you're like, damn.
Yep. Makes you go try.
I never tried. Like, and you can either do something about it or be like, well, it just wasn't in the cards for me, or it can motivate. People all internalize things so differently.
Which could be a bad thing. It puts some people through a midlife crisis. I've seen some 40-year-olds go become jiu-jitsu competitors and whatnot, white belts at 40, and they're like, I'm going to go around the world and compete. And it's like, cool, I guess, if you got that kind of money, but.
Right. And people don't. And so that's kind of, exactly. So for me, it was hard saying, man, I need this. Because again, now that, we're talking about the Panthers, we talk about this, like my life has been so beautifully a train wreck on like so many different places.
Sounds like a fun train wreck though,
but
for the most part.
It was all like,
you've come out on top.
Yeah,
You've
it was going through that. So I can tell people, oh, do you want to talk about jail? Well, I got out of that shit. And I remember there was times where I would be released and they'd be like, please don't come back here, Britt. And I'm like, I'm not coming back here. And that was like Monday. And then Tuesday, it was so embarrassing.
Damn.
I couldn't believe it. I would walk back in there and they'd look at me and they'd be like, and I'm like,
was this just because you were like a mess because all the things happening to you?
Yeah, but you work through it because it's so easy. It was so easy and tempting for me to just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I will do all this.
I was going to ask you, was there a specific moment in your professional career and in real life, I'll say real life in your everyday, when you were going through all that struggle where you just like put your hands up in the air and just like, fuck this, let me just quit?
Yeah, I have actually, which is sad to admit, but I definitely have. And it was in the moment, the fighter in me really was always there, like from a child to a teenager. Like I had so much. And I feel like that's when I threw my hands up in the air. Like I have tried everything that I could possibly try. I don't know why this has happened to me. I've never cheated on anyone. I've never lied. I never stole. I never, so many bizarre situations have happened to me. And I always had like a really high moral compass, really, which is crazy to hear and think about. But I really have. And I've done things the right way. I never slept to get where I'm at in promotions. Like I even remember one time I got my master's degree in sport management and I got that job with NASCAR. And I was so happy. I told my professor, I was like, yo, I'm working for NASCAR. Finally, dreams come true. We can do anything. And the janitor in there was like, oh, what are you, the flag girl? And I went psycho on that guy.
The fucking janitor made that joke.
Yeah, right?
Hey, janitors are people too, Ricky.
Yeah, I know.
Not cool on joining the Carolina Panthers.
She just got done telling the beautiful bathroom attendant story.
I was like, you don't have to have a college degree, but I took offense to it in that moment.
Of course.
But in these years of, it's of living and going through so much stuff, now I take it, it was he was complimenting me, saying I was pretty and and they didn't really get, but I was always a tiger, like in the aspect, like you're going to respect me. I'm not a female. I'm your peer. I'm your teammate. I'm your coworker. I'm your boss, whatever the case may be. You're going to respect me first. You're not going in the locker room, pulling up and doing all that shit. And when I think, I know that I got that, I felt more at ease because I was really strong. And I know people probably talk shit like, oh, Brittany used to bash OnlyFans girls, a few years ago. And it wasn't, I think people totally misunderstood.
So you change your stance?
I feel like what they do, I feel like it made my stance in some ways tell me I'm right. And in some ways tell me I'm wrong.
Well, because your point for the people that don't know was that it takes away from their focus of being fighters, right? Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's work. It's a damn job.
Yeah, it's
a full-time job.
Yeah.
I liked it in the aspect of, wow, as a female, for me, it would be crazy. I sometimes do get low self-esteem. It's really hard for me to be, because I'm one of those girls who's like rough and tumble, like wants to be a tomboy, wears cutoff shirts. I don't really do my hair. I don't really get my nails done. And then when you see these other girls and it looks so good.
Oh, shit.
Is it a girl to walk by?
No, look. Thank God we didn't park there.
You were the one that was going to park there. That would have been awesome.
I was going to park there.
Dude, I would have turned the camera immediately. Here's Ricky's car getting towed.
We should go run out with the belt and be like, stop.
I'm the champion.
Yeah. That works sometimes, So I will say.
You have a story of that?
Especially here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't flex on that belt too many times, but I definitely.
Dude, if I was a champion, I'll be fucking flexing left and right like Ric Flair.
That's funny. And people I'm getting into that. I think this is like a really crossroads year, make and break. Like, are you going to see Britain that's just like, I'm me. At the end of the day, no nickname now. We go from the Vaughn Bomber to all these other different numbers and stuff where even people like, dude, Britt, you're a superstar. You need to have a nickname. I'm like, my name is nickname enough. We're good with that. But, do I keep being that? Or do I like really grow into this boss bitch? Like, no, I'm a fucking, not only the champ, but I'm the face of BKFC. I was given that title from someone and I'm going to own it and show, and here's why. Instead of like, I get really in my head, like, oh, I think you should tell me that. I think the fans should tell me that. And then I respond to that, you know? And if they think I'm great, I am here to be that person. If you don't like me, I'm totally fine being in a corner in a black hole. Like, I don't want to do that, but I've done it so much, it doesn't hurt me to do it.
When you called out Paige, was that a heat of the moment thing? Or they told you to like get on the mic and fucking call her out?
Okay. Yeah. So it will be like a little truth serum today with coconut water. So
it's the Mexican coconut water.
What did you say?
This is going to give me either gangster credits or takeaway. But so that fight, and I was going through a horrible time at that.
Because you ripped into her hard.
That time. Like I was working as a waitress. I was not being, I had really unhealthy habits. And I got a DUI.
Oh, shit.
And so I was like, man, like
true Florida woman.
F my life. We're here now. It's like marriages,
Of course, this is going to happen.
The first one, yeah. You're like, oh my God, into world. Second one, you're like, oh, I should have known better. Third one, you're like, we've been here before. Fuck it. So I really did have that attitude. But they messaged me 2 weeks notice.
Wow.
2.
To fight this chick?
And set a date and the purse. And all I said was, yes. I didn't ask who. I didn't ask but wait. I didn't ask where. It was 2 things that were sent to me. And I said, yes, right away, because I need money for a lawyer for the DUI. So I was like, well, this problem just got fixed.
Thank you, God.
I'm like, and then someone called me and was like, yo, you're going to put a hurting on this poor girl. I said, oh, well, girl. They're like, you don't know? And I was like, nope. And they're like, I remember doing an interview and they're like, aren't you worried that she's dropping 2 fight classes to fight you? And I'm like, whoa. What? Where does this happen? But I watched a video of her and I saw a jump rope and I was like, if I lose to this girl, I deserve to like fucking go somewhere. Like, I don't know, like you can't jump rope. But sorry, but it was the truth. So her terrible jump roping gave me motivation that I can do this. But at first I was like, oh man, this is. So I went in there. I said, fuck it. I need the money, whatever. And they're like, don't beat your opponent up too bad because your future opponent is here. And, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, what? And they're like, yeah, Paige is commentating. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm like, well, this is just a weird, like, again, something I can say about going through trauma and tragedy and all this crazy stuff is you become so evolved and adaptable to anything to where I promise you, if this whole building blew up right now, you would not see me panic or anything. I'd be helping you guys. I'd be like, all right, come on. And we're going to go over here and don't worry. The fire trucks are going to come soon. Like, we got this. But I was just like, oh shit. All right. So I went in there, definitely wasn't in good shape. I don't know. Honestly, sometimes I think that's a key to my victory is because all the last minute fights I had have been like epically
You're just trying to
awesome
end them
and
quick.
easy. Yeah, like mind-blowingly great outcome. But it has also freaked me out where I'm like, man, if I would have been doing the right things, if I would have been with the right people, if I would have had a team and I had 6 weeks, then what I have done. So it really morphed my ability into seeing like, what can I do when it's not like this, And so anyways, I went in, had an awesome performance.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I couldn't believe it. I was like in bewilderment, honestly, the whole time thing. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like you see me smiling and I'm like, all right, let's do this. So at the end, long story short, because I definitely made it way longer. So
Oh, no, that was a beautiful tangent.
But we went over to the corner and they're like, you're going to go up to Paige and tell her she's fucking next. And so I'm still in this like, who am I? I have no idea who I really am and what do I want to be, because I come from a very broken world. I come from a very violent world, undercover. I come from a secret world, but I also come from a very business and corporate world too, where, we were like, don't ask, don't tell. Like it doesn't matter what's happening in your own life. You go in, suit up and, smile and do what you're supposed to. And so I'm like, man,
you snatched that
I
fucking
don't know
mic.
if I want to say fucking. That's what I told him. I was like, Like, I don't want kids or people to be mad at me for saying fucking on like camera. He's like, no, say fucking. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, how do I say fucking naturally?
You fucking. Yeah.
And so when I went up there, it was so It's one of my literally like coolest moments in my mind where I do give myself props because I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? But I literally grabbed the mic and I was like, I'm going to take this. And it was literally like scrambling in my head. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I was like, keep it sweet, keep it simple, keep it short. You're fucking next. It was so epic. It just came out so great. But then you see, so I'm like, yo, I'm like, so now I have an adrenaline rush.
You're pointing dead at her. You're fucking next.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey.
Yeah, it was so cool. Then she came up in the ring and I was like, now it. And it kind of got weird. Like, it got weird. And I was like, oh man, but we're here now, and then I was trying to make the fight, a lot of bullshit with that fight too. But I was like, well, at the end of the day, I need this to change my life. My life, again, we're telling you, I'm taking this fight 2 weeks notice just to recover from a DUI.
That's crazy because
recovered from.
we see you, on TV and we don't know what's going on in your real life.
Oh.
So we're talking a lot about the bare-knuckle stuff. I'm really curious, like, because you
want to take another bite?
Yeah, for sure. Don't let us distract you from it.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, so you started boxing off of Tae Bo, but I saw in your boxing career, you fucking started with like Alicia Baumgardner, which is one of the like best boxers right now.
Nope.
So like, what happened with all that? Like, did you do that, and then how did you end up getting into bare knuckle?
So, that story is a really big story. And I've been kind of like on the fence on telling people about it because I like, again, it's crazy. Like there's like a lot of negative consequences for sometimes saying what the truth of it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really want to say the story, but I think I'm going to cut it down. So just know that like if it doesn't make sense.
We don't want to get you in trouble. All right.
I'm leaving some things out. But I had a manager at the time and really horrible, abusive manager. And I didn't want that fight. And they wanted something more. And when I said, no, I don't want to do that, that's when that fight presented itself. And I said, he was like, it was at 1:30. And I'm like, dude, I'm like a 115er. He's like, oh, don't worry. It's your pro debut. You have the upper hand. And I was 2-0 at the time. And I couldn't believe it. Like in the aspect of like, I was so scared because I finally found my place with boxing. I was 2-0. And he was like, if you don't take the fight, they'll suspend your boxing license indefinitely for a year.
That was true though?
No, it wasn't true.
I was going to say, what?
That's what I said. It's just stupid. It's just going through. It wasn't true. But in that time, I was trying to assume like I believed him. Like,
you trusted him.
I trusted him. Like he was like, I'm that type of person when I'm with you and I rock with you, as you can see, good or bad. And it's a good thing. Like, I don't want anyone to steal that quality from me because it's very good quality, but you got to be really careful with it because I am that person. If I rock with you, if you say jump, I'm asking how high. I'm not going to ask, why are you making me jump? Or, well, how far do you want me to jump? Like, I just do it, to the best of my ability. Like, that's just who I am. And so I was like that with him. And then I didn't realize that it was more than what it was supposed to be. And, it was very like, crazily enough, you could see I'm still timid to talk about it.
Yeah.
And the people built around that person are scared to talk about him because he has that type of fearful. So it's kind of crazy, And I think that I have to say, like, it's been that like hate and revenge on some of those things that happened where I'm like, you know what? The only way I'm ever going to really be able to move past this is be bigger and better than you. So you don't have power. You can't threaten. You can't blackball me and call every gym and tell them I'm crazy and don't listen and I'm the worst to work with. Like, because that happened. So that's why when people don't see that, like those sites are like, oh, Britton's a gym whore. She bounces around from gym to gym. When you have no idea the phone calls and the networking and the connecting and how tight knit the family community or fighting community is, to where now I'm on touch. Like, can't do that today, but
coming up,
years ago, you could call a gym and be like, no. And then now I'm going to that gym. It really happened like probably 3 times total, maybe 4 now I'm really thinking about it, where I was really negatively hurt. And this is getting away from him in that gym where they were like, oh, wow, it's, we heard this. And I'm like, wow, like, let me just prove it to you and show you. Or they won't even say nothing to me and months will go by and they're like, yeah, we got a warning about you. And we're so glad we didn't listen. And I'm like, wow, it was so crazy. But, so now seeing those red flags, I'm one of those that I really wish and I could see it out to the end. But if I see smoke, boom, I won't let the fire get there anymore. But with boxing, I didn't realize it then. So I literally thought my license was going to get, and that was a good thing. Again, pause, button, rewind. Mm-hmm. If that shit didn't happen, I would have still thought this guy is amazing and gold, and loved everything that he did, But when I went up there, I only went up there because I thought my boxing license was going to get suspended. I had a broken hand at the time. Shit was really hard for me. I was going through, I was still in that, on and off again, abusive relationship. So yeah, just broke my hand. That shit was terrible. And when I went up there, what the promoter was like, Britton, please, we really need you to fight. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm here to fight. And he was like, oh, well, your manager said, if we don't double your purse, you're not fighting.
Holy shit.
And that's when, in a moment, I just said, enough is enough. I did the fight. I went back and I gave him all the money. And I said, I never want to be associated with you or anything ever again. Now that I know.
Right. He's looking for the money, not your interest.
Yeah. And what it was. And, and Alicia at that time had 188 amateur fights.
Yeah.
The weight, it was horrible. Honestly, I talk about it in bare minimum because I like Alicia and love Alicia and think she is so cool.
Yeah, she didn't do anything wrong.
And she's had reoccurring things in my life. So I love being honored that way. But that's one of those fights. If I had one fight, maybe 2 fights, that I would have 2 fights that I could black hole that I never want to think about ever again. They just didn't happen. That would be one of them. I had no part of me wanted to remember anything about that fight.
So right after that, was that kind of when you said, I need to try something different? How'd you get into the bare-knuckle stuff?
Yeah, well, and that time I was like, man, I knew I loved boxing. I knew that was where I belonged. It was a weird, sick, the 2 greatest days of your life, the day you were born and the day you found out why. My first pro fight, after just doing Billy Blanks and all that stuff, when I walked in, it was in Charlotte. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't oh my God. I felt at home. It was a weird euphoric feeling. It was all this stuff happened for this moment. I had never felt so much love. And they were strangers. After that fight, and it was really at the end of the day, not anybody really good, starting fight. But after that fight, I couldn't believe it. And I was that was I think a huge void and thing I was looking for, to where I felt this is where I can make an impact. This is where I can find myself. This is who I am. And so I knew it. And it shows these outcomes, them fighting and where you're passionate about something, that, if something bad happens or, all right, this wasn't for me, move on. This wasn't for me. That's okay. But there's sometimes where you do anything, cut your arm off for this chance and possibility.
Right.
And that's how I felt. And I did. And I went on this, even after leaving and separating from this tragic, horrible manager, then I was blackballed from every gym in fucking Virginia for a little bit. So I went to Philly, I went to Tampa, I went to Vegas, and they all had their problems and issues, but they all had their great things. They all had such a crucial, major thing that puts me into the category of being the greatest of all time.
Yeah, you just named all the boxing history.
Yeah. And people
capitals.
Didn't even realize it. They're wow, you're unstable, you're here, you're there. And yeah, maybe it was, but I learned so much for being only in this game and industry. I learned how this gym talks. I learned how these people talk. I watched how these people treat their fighters, how these people treat these fighters. I watched these fights. I'm working with this style of fight. Now I'm working with this style. Now, and they're all different. It's crazy. We're all doing the same thing, Like they're all different. So because I got it so, like it was like a method actress. Like I was about that life. Like I slept on mattresses where the roof would be dropping and leaking. And I'd be like, all right, pull it over here. And I lay down. And finally, I would just put the sheet over my head because it didn't matter where that mattress was. It was leaking on me. And I'd wake up the next morning and there'd be puddles. It'd be so gross. I lived in places where the doors had 5 locks on it. And like literally my directions in this one fight camp were don't come out unless we're ready for you.
Damn.
Yeah. But that was how I got to get that experience, that I was willing to live and be in a place I really didn't have any business being in, but I didn't know that. They didn't know that. I don't ask any questions. I'm here on a mission. And that's all I have to do is like, again, sit in that corner. And I did. And I waited I probably did for like a month or two. When they text me, go outside, I'll go outside. And I'd go to the gym and I'd get this awesome experience. And then I'd go back and I'd just sit there. I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford food. I couldn't do anything. I don't know anything. I don't have any friends here or any family. And then after a month or two, you start meeting people you're close with the gym. Then I got out. And then you really start to see things for what it is worth. And it was amazing. But I had to grow through that. Same thing that I learned like in football, like being a bathroom attendant. It sucked. But that's how I got that experience. And I gave it my all in that time and that effort. Like with people being different, I always have the same rule. It doesn't matter what roof is over my head. Whoever's in charge, they're in charge. If they tell me to do something and I think it's fucking stupid, well, I'm going to do it to the best, awesome, fucking stupid ability that it can be done. And it'll be done. And now look, now I can see fighters and adjust and evolve. I know what they're doing. I know this, I know that. And I really might have burned a few bridges here and there, but make no mistake, again, I didn't burn them because I did something wrong. I burned them because they did something wrong and fuck them. But other than that, any other place, I could go to 8 places I can name right now and say, thank you. You made me who I am. I love you. I'm sorry I can't be there every day to give you the attention and special shit that you deserve for shaping me in this person. And they, you know what they say back? That's how I know they're for me. They literally say, Brit, we get it. You got to do what you do. Sometimes a hermit crab, like, why am I going to stay in a gym when I'm fighting a southpaw? And there's no southpaws there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a big bold. Like sometimes that can hold you down too. But if someone's really loyal and ride or die, they know that I can walk through any of those gym doors right now and they will love me. They will give me my respect and support because when I was there, it doesn't matter if it was for a month or 6 months, I gave it my absolute all. So I was able to like really pick up this boxing to where when bare-knuckle called me, I told them no.
Oh, so they called you while you were still boxing?
Yeah. They told me no. I had this huge fight. I remember it was in Atlantic City. Huge fight on a Evander Holyfield card.
Oh, shit.
And Evander Holyfield was there himself, and it was against a really, really decorated good girl, Sacred Downing.
Is that where that picture came from? That you're with Evander Holyfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So it was an awesome experience and opportunity. And everybody told me at that time,
yo, he's
don't do it, don't take it, blah, blah, blah. And I hadn't fought in a while at that time because, again, I was going through that black ball period where everything I would get, you know, this man would be calling promoters and be like, how much you going to give her? 3,000? All right, I'll give you 6,000 if you boot her from the card. Like it was like that, you know, like
what a piece of crap.
Right. Like shit was crazy. But, so anyways, that was with that fight, everyone's like, don't do it. Don't take it. And I'm like, look, man, I know I have it in me. I know I can beat anybody put in front of me. I just know this and I have to test it against the best. I can't test it against handpicked opponents or shitty opponents or small little venues. I have to because every other boxer out there that's a woman, not bare-knuckle, because bare-knuckle's a cool new sport, but boxing, their dad did it. Their uncle did it. They've been doing it since they were 8. They were in the amateurs. They are Olympic medalists. They're this, they're that. You know, I don't have it. I'll never be able to compete. I'll never come from money. I'll never come from traditional. I'll never be what these people want and expect me to be unless I beat the best. Then you're undeniable. So I was on that agenda. And I took those risks and I took that fight and it was a really good fight. I was winning first round, second round, winning. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. And the third round, she switched to southpaw.
Oh, shit.
And I literally, but again, pause, I don't know why that made me so nervous. Maybe because it was like my fifth fight ever in my life and that type of a thing. But all I remember thinking was, oh shit, she changed, stay the outside of the foot. So I was like the aggressor the first 2 rounds. And the third round, I'm like, well, I don't, stay the outside. So it was boring, and if she did some things, she looked better. So she got that round.
Oh,
then the fourth round, I was like, she realized it. It was like kind of like deer in the headlights. I lost it. And the fourth round got better. It was super competitive, but I got this nasty cut on my head from a headbutt. So I was leaking blood. Then we got to go into the theatrics of boxing, which is so bullshit to me, but whatever. It is what it is. So I'm not complaining. But I'm telling you, fight fans out there, you guys really get on my nerves. And the fact that you think the winner is the person. Like,
so
it's just that way. If you get one cut.
That's the one that ended in a no contest?
No, they just gave her the win.
Damn.
They gave it to her. It should have been a draw, like wholeheartedly. Because I definitely won the 2 rounds. I think she won the 3rd round. And the 4th round was draw-ish. But since she's the main event and hometown and from there, like, I get it. But you should have gave me a draw. I think I earned that. But, she did have a figured out my plan. And when she switched, I didn't have an answer for it. So if you want to give me a cruel and unusual punishment for not being smarter or wiser, whatever. But it was right there. And again, shout out to her. She made me feel so good. She could have been like, so what she said to me was really powerful, really encouraging as a woman in the sport. And you know what? Funny enough, I'm her only fight. She was one crazy. And done, one and done. And she is, a super decorated amateur fighter. Like her name was well known in the amateurs. Anyways, fast forward, bare-knuckle had called me before and I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm just focused on boxing. Right after I lost the fight, they offered me, like, you want to go to bare-knuckle? And I was like, oh, wow, like, thanks for calling me. But I was really just being polite when I told you I wanted to work on boxing. I was just being polite. And they were like, well, this would be really huge, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be the main event. And I was like, yeah, again, that makes it worse. Like, I don't want to be beat up on television. Like, I want to be the best. Like, I want to be great. And like, kudos to that guy for being super sales pitch, but whatever. Happy for him because he made me believe it. He could have been selling me a lie and could have been lying through his teeth. I believed it. He said, Britain, she's really just a name. It's just a UFC name. You're actually probably better than her and you could win. And I was like, okay.
All right.
Really?
Sounds pretty good.
Oh.
Sign me up.
I asked everybody. So now at this time, like I was telling you, I'm like, been everywhere. So the smartest thing I could have done in that period was like a little board of directors. Because you don't know I'm friends with you and you don't know I'm friends with that guy. Like, but we all know each other, but nobody knows that I'm like really in with that because I really do mind my business and keep going. And so I would call and be like, what do you think? And they'd give me their opinion and I would compare their answers and be like, what, like, because they know more about it. They're wiser and better in my peers. And if I can collectively see what the general thing is, finally, it was very 50-50, right? Some people were like, no, hell no, you're fucking crazy. Some people were like, yeah, fuck it, what do you got to lose? And I finally was like, man, I'm like looking for validation because I feel like me knowing who I am, if I didn't want to do it, I'd be like, I'm not doing it. And I'd walk away. And the fact that I was thinking about it lets me know I wanted to do it. So I was like, all right, Hunger Games. So, I'm the 12th district girl. And she's the 2nd district. That bitch looks like she was born and raised to like throw knives and punch things every day. Talking about Beck Rollins. She looks super, she's mean looking. She's a mean, tough beast of a girl. And, she's got an attitude and she's got she's got that thuggish type of personality. But I'm like, damn. And here I am like, I don't like look the worst, but I'm not definitely jacked or muscular by any means. And I'm like, 4,000 followers to her 1 million followers. Let's go in and do this with like little resources, running out in cow pastures. Again, everybody hates me in Virginia at this point. When the fight got announced, they're like, you're going to get murdered. You're going to embarrass us. you're another soccer mom getting
Jesus
murdered on
Christ.
TV. Way to go. Like, it was really cruel. Like, it was zero support. Like, not zero, because I did have one that was like super sweet. But again, great guy, great fighter, great coach. But he's in it because to protect people in fitness. But like, he's a family man and stays in his little, his place. But he really cared and supported me. So I don't want to say nobody, but he was the only one. Everyone else was like, fuck that, fuck you. And so he did it, and he dropped everything to help me with it the best he could. And look, we got a split decision, and that was, and where we trained? The YMCA.
Holy shit.
The YMCA every day. That's it.
Just hitting the bag they had there?
Yeah. Hitting mitts with him or sparring with him,
Damn.
And he used to be an MMA fighter, but he would, and I think he did a couple boxing matches, but he was big time MMA fighter and Muay Thai. But yeah, he was the only person I had in a YMCA for a main event in Biloxi, Mississippi against a UFC legend. And I went, and there was a split decision. But
you got that victory later on.
Same thing. Yeah, I got the rematch, which just shows that I really feel like I won the first one anyways, because the second one was so clearly defined. Because I learned, it shows that I'm adapting and learning and seeing, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you and you, like, what do you really want, and what can I really like do and be capable of? Because again, I do want to be the best and great, but it's feeling wanted and needed and loved and supported. And I don't want to be booed in the ring. Like, I've already proved how tough I am to me. Like, I don't want to be booed. Like, I want to make you happy. And if you're happy by me going out there and being crazy and sluggish, well, sure, I can do that. But if you're happy by me being technical and poised and boxing as a science and what a skill, I really thought that's what everybody wanted. So I went out crazy psycho on this boxing technical stuff. Now, people were like, there was comments, Britton's too technical. But like, oh,
yeah, it's
God.
a crazy statement.
But I love it either way. I've learned so much. But with bare-knuckle, man, I'm just still looking like the fans, the people, like that belt. When I got that belt, you're right. Like, people look at me differently. And I love it. Like, I love it so much. And it's a weird place to be, because it's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing it for? And am I really, like, now I'm getting this like different era. Like, do I want to, like, I don't want to be like this person that we just talked about. Like, when is it time to just be like, dude, I did the best I could do. Here it is. Like, everyone's waiting for you to fall. Like, where do you go from there? Like, do you still want me to be in the fights? Like, I'm just waiting for this big moment that, like, just says, yo, we want you here, Britt. Like, you're the best, biggest, baddest. Let's go. And I think that's one of those moments you find out that you really hope for and dream for, but is it ever really going to come?
Yeah, for sure. If you keep winning, I mean, It's such a young sport. So if you get a nice winning streak, you're going to be one of those like mythological figures where either people are tuning in to watch you lose, which, I mean, look at Mayweather. He made a career off of that. Like, that's good shit. So are you settled down now? Like, is this where you're staying for the rest of your career?
Again, it's just, and that's very, the way of thinking is very like in the middle of BKFC. So now it's definitely a different with taking your advice and being like, wow, I just keep winning. And Sturges was so awesome. And again, you see my reaction, like how they made it. Like, that's why I'm around, that's why I want to do it. But, I've just been in that state, like, where is home? I love Florida so much. I hate the cold, but Virginia is different because it's broken there, And so then you get that, like I can go and fix so many things there.
That's a nice way to look at it.
And help and make a difference, which is ultimately what I want to do. But then you just get to a point where you're like, well, there's not that many resources there. I don't know if the time right now is to do it because I am so high in my career. Here you have, cryo, physical therapy, sport places. Every single corner. In Virginia, you got to drive an hour, maybe two. And that's a big if. And then you got to pay for it. And you're losing money and gas money. And so for me, But then again, I think we were talking about this. They're like, fuck, Florida is expensive.
Yeah, expensive as shit.
It's so expensive. In Virginia, a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $600 a month.
I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't been to Virginia, have you?
No,
I went once and it was a terrible experience.
Really? Why?
Well, I went. They had a music festival out there.
Yeah, Blue Ridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went. We went to the last one, and they canceled it. Like people camped there, right? And it hailed.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a borderline tornado, and then the promoter just wanted to take the insurance money and cancel. So the last 2 days, it was sunny as shit. And mind you, it's in the middle of nowhere. We actually stayed in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So we drove an hour to get up to Virginia. They made us wait for school buses in the rain. And then they just canceled the festival. And I drove there. Like, I was like, hey, we haven't done a road trip.
Damn.
Let's not fly. Let's drive. So I'm like, fuck Virginia.
I would move now to any state that's you get a 3-3 house for under 280. But then
give me under 400 at this point.
Yeah, but then you go to that state and then you're like, what is there to do?
And then when there is something to do, then everything becomes expensive.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
So that's what I was circling when I came back. The last place I felt love was KO Zone. And I was like, just fuck it. If I spend $2,000 a month, I'll just get a job and work it. But I have to be here. But it is hard when you're like $600 a month, 3-bedroom house, or $2,000 a month
for
one bedroom.
This big,
Yeah.
You know, it's like as big as this room.
Oh yeah, you want to hurt your feelings? Watch the TikTok videos on the efficiencies in Miami.
God, I know.
Dude, those are awful. Like you had this efficiency with the center
it has
with
a
AC
sink and a bed next to it,
and the toilet.
It's like a chill zone,
and it's like 2 Gs. It's like 2 Gs,
and it's really hard. It's very hard. So for me too, I'm like, man, the things people don't know. Again, in a short amount of time, with Paige VanZant fight, which was 2021.
Yep.
4,000 followers, no money at all. Like doing this all very, very, very broke. To 2025, I have like in the 70,000 follower range. And, you know, I do have resources and help, but it's like navigating that. Like I'm still like very much in this like, but now you got to be, I'm here now. Like,
right.
How do I
navigate
and work this? And it is an investment. It's hard to take someone that's like a diamond in the rough or street rat or whatever you want to call me, it's hard to take someone like that and really put them in something and be like, dude, pour all this money that you've been waiting for your whole life into just having a roof over your head. When I'm like, well, man, I slept in my car for a couple of years. It wasn't that bad, you know? And then you're like, no. Like,
you have your mom down here?
No, she lives in Virginia.
So she stayed over there? Okay. So you travel back and forth basically, or no? You travel?
Yeah, I have 2 kids. My son lives in Virginia, which I still got my house in Virginia, kind of like that's my thing to him. Mm-hmm. Is that your mom, like no matter what we talk about or my friends know, like this crazy train wreck of a life, that if the time ever did come for stability, I have it. It's a house right there. It's 20 minutes from where you live. You just tell me when. And my kid's so amazing. He's so unbelievably wonderful that he gets that. And he knows if he ever needs me, like I have a house, we'll be there and we can have, you know, an equally great life. But he's on his other agenda. He lives with his dad and they take him like he's super big into Pokemon, which I am too. But he goes to, so fun fact.
You playing that trading card game right now?
All the time. Yeah. Actually, poor kid. He calls me every day. He's like, did you open my pack of cards? But, and I keep forgetting. But, yeah, he travels. Like, I'm so proud. Like, he has that part of me where he knows and he gets it. He doesn't just stay here. He has friends. And I don't want to ever hold him down and be like, oh, you know, I can't go do this because it's my weekend with my mom or my time with my mom.
Yeah.
He has his practices and he does it, but we both live in that world where if this building were to catch on fire, anything bad, like that's the house. So anyways, I keep it there. So when I drive up, it's right next to him. He has a place. I don't have to take him hotel to hotel,
right,
you know,
right.
And none of that bullshit. So that's what that's there for. And I go up there, you know, I just kind of get back from there really. His birthday was January 5th. And then my daughter used to live in Charlotte, which was super awesome. Man, I love that. It was, even though it was like 3 hours away from Virginia, it was super great because I worked there. And then she moved to Pensacola last year, I think it is.
Okay.
And that's been really hard and challenging. So she lives in Pensacola. So,
well, if you're going to live in Florida, that's a cheap place to live.
Right? Yeah. And it's kind of cold. It's kind of
sometimes.
Are you religious or no?
Yeah, I would say I'm religious.
Or does it? Or a higher
I was going to
power?
slip that in there earlier with the moral stuff.
Yeah, I think I've definitely had my waves. Like my religion story is definitely another one of its own. But I really think it was going to Guatemala there. I really found like what God really meant and like that bigger, higher power and the image of that. And then from that, stemming with Guatemala to I lived with my uncle for a year and a half down here. And they were like a really strong support system for me in a great way. They didn't say, you have to go to church. They invited me every time and I would say no. And they would be like, all right, no problem. But next time they would invite me, then they would get me stuff like a diary that had like the Bible quotes in it. Or they would ask my permission to pray with me, over me. And I feel like that constant love and like seeing that really, it really made a huge impact in my life, how I see life, who I think every day. But very, again, new-ish to me.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, I feel like 2024 was a healing year, big time. So now I think 2025 is more like trying to see like, what does a healed version do?
So I think I know the answer to this question, but I was going to ask you, would you rather have $10 million?
I love how you're slipping them in here.
Yeah.
Zelled.
This is a trial, by the way.
$10 million Zelled into your bank account, tax-free, of course.
Right.
Or spend 10 minutes with God.
Oh.
You can't ask him for wishes or anything. Just
talk to him.
Just talk to him.
Yeah, I would choose that.
And it might be very vague answers he gives you.
Of course.
It's your own path. Figure it out.
Yeah.
So what would you pick?
I would talk to God.
That's okay.
Yeah. I would have to. I think the coolest, another fighter, like I said, everyone who's come in my life has touched me in such amazing ways. One fighter I was really close to, he gave me that story with God saying like, this man was on the island and he was like, God help me. And a boat came by and you know the story. Yeah. And he was like, no, God's got me. And they're like, all right. And then he was dying even more and a helicopter came. He was like, no. And then when he died,
where were you?
He said, God, why? I asked you to help me. He goes, I sent you a boat, another boat, and a helicopter. Like, what's wrong with you?
They would tell me that in Sunday school.
Yeah.
Come on, don't lie. You didn't go to church.
I love that story. And I think about it in my life now. And it was, like I said, it was one of those things, like, I dipped in my, like, and I still, like, have, like, things I'm not proud of, like hate and anger and revenge. Like, those things are a big part of who I am. But I think I've been scared to, like, let that go because that was, like, my like, hate got me, like, hating someone and hating the situation and what was got me through so much. Revenge, like, I'll show you, I'm going to do this. That got me through so much of my life that I'm like hard not knowing how to do it. But when I look back now and see those times, like with God, I would sit, like, I remember I ran and I went to a church and I never go to church. And I went to a church and I was like, fucking help me, like, help me. I need help. And it got so much worse that very next day, like, after doing that, like, dude, like, I actually, like, did a movie moment, ran at, like, 2:00 in the morning because my mind wouldn't shut off and there's so many bad things going on that I stopped at a church while I was running and sat there and literally prayed and asked for your help. And then the next day, it's even way worse. And I was like, you know what?
More trials.
I'm done with this. I'm like, fuck this. It's me and you, universe, around, fucking rocks, whatever. We're riding this shit out.
I think, if there's God, he probably likes that shit a little bit, just as long as you come back.
Well, I think, yeah. And it's crazy because it really is ultimately a sign in that even that moment. Like, yeah, what was really bad that happened to me was like, yo, get helps. Like if you don't realize, leave. If you don't realize that, I'm going to make it so bad for you. You have no choice but to leave.
Right.
And I would have just followed those first few signs.
You believe in the supernatural or any ghost stories or no?
I believe in energy big time. I definitely believe in manifestation, but I believe in destiny too. Like I think there are certain things that you can will, and if you want them like bad enough, you can, there's a lot of things you can do to will that. But I do think, there's part of me that think like what you're meant to be will come. It's just how and why. And, I always kind of say like cards, like we're all dealt a hand of cards, and learning that, and God gives us all different cards, like a dealer to what. And just because he gives you a shit hand and me a great hand doesn't mean he loves us any less or whatever. But we learn how to turn that shit hand into a good hand, or not be mad that you just got the better hand and not be salty that I got the worst hand of it. So
got to figure out how to play your hand.
Yeah, you have all those things, but supernatural, like, I don't know. I think they're fun to like explore and think, but I think wholeheartedly, energy is like, and I think God has something like to do with that as far as, and not, I know that he does. That's what you believe in.
There's a plan out there.
Yeah. And that you can see and talk through that through your actions. Like maybe right now it's not my will to be a doctor. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
I was going to say, you'll be a good doctor. No, okay.
But if someone, right? Who would know? I know that that's not in my wheelhouse. But if I really wanted it, You'll know make it happen. I could manifest it. I could go to medical school. I could be around people and talk to doctors all day long to where eventually it will spark. So the energy is transferable, I think.
There was a monk that said, no matter how much you pray, just make sure you move your feet.
No.
Because if you just pray about it, it's just...
Yo, this guy did not become this wise until we sat down with you. It's crazy.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I've been working with him for like 45 years now, and I haven't heard him quote a monk once.
See, that fear of God came and said, I'm going to tow your car. No, you did the right thing.
Yo, and I told him,
the fear of God was me.
And you're not going to believe this. I just got a spot in the front. And I'm like, there's too many signs. Where are you? In the garage.
Yeah. What do you say that? Because you could have parked there.
Dude, and I normally, I park in those spots, not here, but anywhere else I go. Right. And the Publix, when you're just picking up, I park there.
It would have been a great promotional moment, though, because they towed for the company that made the coconut water. The guy pulled in the spot as soon as he got towed out. Hilarious.
So I'm looking over like the questions that I have for you. I wasn't trying to be rude. So I just have like 3 fun questions. I don't know if Dan has anything to follow up.
Well, one of our things that we're trying, he already killed mine. No, because mine feels so corny now in comparison. Because at work, we do really inappropriate would you rather questions.
I like that too.
They're all sexual.
Again,
you ready for this?
They're
corny.
They're
would you rather have? Tell her what you were going to say.
Well, I was like,
we have this like huge life deep moment.
Look, he's blushing now.
And we're like, nah. Look.
No, because I can't think of one that's.
Yeah, I'm going to say it for you.
Well, no, the golden ticket.
No,
it's gonna get us fucking canceled.
You rather?
Wait, no, maybe.
The famous one is because we have a bunch of like really macho dudes at work, and it's like, would you suck a dick for $1 million?
Yeah,
I'm like, I would suck it twice for $2 million. Like, come on, man, get out of here.
He said for free. He said he'll do it.
I said 20 grand. It's pretty close to free, but
all those like all the guys that were like, I would never do that. And I'm like, stop.
But it's such a fantastic, and we're at work, 8 to 16 hours a day. So the questions just get more and more deranged as time goes on. And we're like, how do we make this podcast more interesting? How do we get more moments? Because we love letting the people know about you, and you've had a fantastic story. So
incredible story, by the way.
This probably isn't even necessary, but we wanted to add something to spice it up. And we're trying to like brainstorm. You're the first one to experience this, but we're trying to brainstorm stuff like that. And he slipped them in a little bit. He gave you the would you rather have the pause button rewind.
I have 3 more in there.
The only appropriate one I found, and you already showed us your DMs, so I was I was looking through what are some more appropriate ones. Would you rather someone has a YouTube channel, which I guess it could be us, right? Would you rather have your DMs read aloud or your search history?
Oof. My searchers. Oh,
Wait,
my search
can I
history is
guess?
probably really
Is it
freaking bizarre.
raunchy? Oh,
You would be like, Brit. So publicly, yeah, I would love for my DM. Yo, I would love for someone to read my DMs just so they can just see.
Yeah,
like,
yours is kind of unfair because there's just a bunch of crazy people like just messaging you.
do you ever just look at it like, wait, can you preview them or you got to open them?
You gotta open them. Yeah, it just says send a message. You're like,
sometimes you recognize the names. Like there's this one girl, and I don't know. And someone even told me that they're like, why don't you block them? I was like, I don't know. I feel like they have like the need to do it, and they're a follower, and they follow me.
I feel like any attention is good attention.
Yeah, like, but she sends me naked pictures all the time.
Can I ask, is she pretty?
She is like
Don't be nice about it. Yes or no? She's
no.
Okay.
oh, I thought we were gonna make someone today.
She's more in the like plus category.
No me gusta.
Which I don't even look at the pictures. I open it up. And I'm like,
I could just imagine how many like sausage pics.
Well, you know what's funny
guys
about that?
DM?
Did you? I mean, I keep up on all the tech bullshit. So Google is adding a feature now to their messaging thing.
oh yeah.
Which is actually scary because they're using AI to detect.
Don't
nudes.
tell me if you send a dick pic.
It blurs it out. You'll get
that's
a
not
warning.
bad.
Really?
For
No,
girls.
but you know why it's bad? It means that they processed your nudes somewhere, and
Yeah,
Google
and
probably
they have
has them.
Yep. And I'll be like, whoa. Charlie's dick ended up here. Out here.
You go to apply for a job, it's like,
Sorry, Charlie, your dick's been
Yeah, we did your
20
Google
million
background.
times.
Is this your little sweet potato? I go, yeah, that's me. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
All right. Would you rather be? Oh,
And so you know, so you guys don't think, well, wow,
No.
Britain's so inspired. Like, she just wants to speak up. So you know, I have a good, funny bad mom story.
All right, go.
We all have, but I do that with my coach in Virginia. So I do love Danville, Virginia. There's one little spot. It's just really hard for me to get there sometimes, but they've always really loved me and been by me.
That's where Blue Ridge is at. That's the funny part.
They've always just been, because that's a Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
They've always really loved me. But my coach and me there have like a solid relationship. And you'll see even though I don't train with him, he's in all my fights. So Coach Luck, you've never seen him not be in my BKFC fights.
That's awesome.
Like even when I'm here, that man is ride or die for what he's done for me and his own little thing. I bring him with me everywhere. It doesn't matter. But anyways, we got this super tight relationship, and he's always like, would you fuck that guy for $2 million? I'm like, so I said, would you? He goes, hell yeah, I would. I said, no, you wouldn't. He goes, yeah, I would. I'm like, what about him? He's like, So we do it all the time. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I would not. He goes, yeah, you would. I'm like, no, I wouldn't. And he's like, that guy right there with the walker. And I'm like, no,
Oh my God.
I would not do it. He goes, yeah, he would.
Oh, yeah, right there with you though.
So we do it every time we go to the airport. We pick out the worst person there.
Of course.
And we always say, yo, would you fuck that person for $1 million? So we're in the gym one day, and I don't know why. My kids are with me. And we're talking about it like low key, maybe we didn't say that. But I'm like, no, I wouldn't do it. Look, I'm still riding hard. Like, I wouldn't. And my kids turn around and say, you better, Mom. And I was like,
well,
I was like, first of all, what the fuck? Juan, you're listening to our adult conversation. I said, that's horrible. I said, you would want your mom to do that? And they're like, for $1 million, damn right. So I'm like, well, let me reverse the roles, because that's what a good parent does, right? But it's very, very inappropriate to tell your children, would they have sex with someone for $1 million? That's now getting like, what the fuck? So I'm like really quickly thinking in my mind, how do I flip it on them? And I'm like, so if someone said, go out there and eat a pile of dog shit for $1 million, you would do it? And they're like, yeah,
give me this.
Yeah, we would. And I'm like, I don't know what I did. I said, I missed something racing you guys. But we laughed, and
that's a good relationship.
But so like.
Oh yeah, I'm the crazy,
it's
I'm the
the
token
best.
crazy white guy at work now because I just agree to everything.
Yeah, that's
like they said something really. What did they say once? There was like some nasty dried up shit on like a pillar at work. They're like, would you lick that for 50,000? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like,
yeah,
I just gotta lick it once. Come on, like it'll pass.
All right. Would you rather be itchy or sticky for the rest of your life?
I read that one
easy.
too.
Easy, sticky.
Really?
Yeah, I actually don't mind being sticky.
Well, you do live in Florida now. I think we're sticky like 80% of the time.
Yeah, sticky. And I used to work outside, like, again, crazy ass life. I cut trees for a year, and I was an electrician for a year, and an outdoor electrician. So we were like in like sweat, sticky stuff, sawdust, sap.
Hopefully he saved the best one for last.
Well, I have 2 more.
Oh, all right. I thought you said you had 3.
Maple syrup's a thing, so chocolate's.
Would you rather lose sight or your memories?
Oh my God.
That was bad.
You know,
how about you lose sight out of one eye? Just to make it
come on,
even.
don't make it easy. She was really deep in thought just now.
Dude,
yeah,
I don't want to lose my sight.
Dude, I just watched this really fucked up movie called Blink Twice. I don't know if you guys have watched it.
God, it sounds familiar.
Is it Netflix?
So
is that a horror movie?
It is a little bit. It's like with Channing Tatum in it.
Is it good or?
All right. It's so crazy because when the movie came on, I was just like kind of eye roll, like, change of the times. Like, this is where we're at. Where it was like warning. Like, it had a whole warning message at the beginning.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. And I've never seen that in a movie before. So I'm like, oh, these guys, like, just catering to her, like trying, like the coffee's hot thing. Like someone got a lawsuit that they had trauma from watching.
Right.
So I'm totally like, whatever.
Nobody, right.
So I start watching it and I'm like, what the fuck? Like this shit. It took me a while to realize what was going on.
Is it a horror? Is it a horror movie?
It is. It's a horror movie. It kind of has like stuff to do. It's very like, it is horror, but it takes in like real world, like rumors that are going in the media with like the islands and what they do there. And
like the Epstein stuff.
Yeah. So it's definitely a play off of that.
So it's like blink twice if you're in trouble type of thing. That's what the title is.
Have you seen what that is? If you're like kidnapped?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know. I'm like,
there's universal signal.
I didn't know that.
There's something going on. They follow them or call the police.
See?
But that's their help. So teach your kids that because my kid knows these things.
See,
I go, what happened?
Yeah,
Mom didn't let me drink.
Every time I see Ricky, he kept giving me
my mom didn't let me drink soda.
I know.
My 7-year-old.
I didn't know that. That's wild. I taught this to add on that to anyone's watching because I went to go do a boxing seminar in Tennessee. And it was they were like, oh, there's a lot of women coming. They're super excited to meet you. They really want to learn self-defense. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got you. No biggie. I love this. And I love teaching people. But they came in and they weren't lying. These 3 girls approached me and they were just like, we're so glad you're here. This happened to me. This happened to me. And I was like, whoa, like I couldn't believe like they were really looking at me in that way. But they told me like, yeah, the other day I went to work and there was a grocery bag on my car. And I'm like,
oh shit.
What's a grocery bag? And I'm like,
what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm like, well, take it off and fucking. But apparently, so that was my reaction because I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I was like, what's wrong with a grocery bag?
Is that the decoy? Like once you get the grocery bag,
I saw a story about it before. Yeah,
like if someone grocery bags you, it's letting them know that you're being followed and you're being like, because they never like grab you. Like it's always a grooming, usually with kidnap. Like you get followed for a week to months. It's always like really a big planned thing.
I think as a parent, that's like my biggest thing. Something happening to my son.
Right.
I can't live without him. I don't know how to live without him.
Yeah, down here's crazy too. Like,
holy fuck, man.
We feel pretty safe. I mean, we grew up here, but
you have a gun?
Shit is crazy out here.
Maybe.
Oh,
good answer.
Good thing you didn't mouth off today.
Oh, that was awesome. I can't believe.
And I did have someone say it was really cool. Actually made my day. They said something to me, and I definitely don't ride around with guns, although I should, but I definitely...
In Florida? Yeah.
Yeah, just because, I don't know. It's just some weird, long backstory to that too. But I have knives in all the pockets of my doors. And so I told someone, they're like, damn, that's sexy as fuck. I was like, oh, are they really? Because they're like, aren't you worried? I'm like, no, I got a bunch of knives. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I have one here. They're like, what do you need? I said, because these are my money makers. And trust me, if someone's threatening my life, the last thing I'm doing is punching you on the street. I'm going to fucking hit you with that chair, this table, my heavy ass belt, a knife, like anything, like to save my hands being broken. Like I've learned, I'm not doing it, but I will definitely fight for my life. That's for sure.
Are there any rumors out there that are true about you or that are false?
Oh, tons that are false.
Like, what are the main ones you keep hearing?
Oh, you know what? It's been quiet for a little bit.
Okay.
But I did hear one.
Let's not rehatch it. That.
Wait.
You got to start doing some research on
I want to
these.
hear what rumor.
No, I'm asking you. I don't know.
Me the truth.
I think that's the angle though, because he asked this question a few times, and everyone's just like, "I'm sure there is." Got to start finding the rumors.
Give me a rumor. I want to hear one because one rumor that was fun but ridiculous was one of my friends was like, "So Christine that I fought twice from BKFC." They're like, "So you guys were in a relationship?" I was like, "No, we weren't."
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, it's okay. I'm not judging you. I'm like.
That's hilarious.
I don't care if you judge me. We were never in a relationship.
How did that become a rumor?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It literally, I heard it from seriously one person. And I was really bothered by it because it was like, at that time, my best friend, like a really good friend. And she was like, well, it's okay. Like, I totally get it. I'm not judging. I'm like,
there's something going on.
I said, there's nothing. I said, she was a friend and she helped me when I lived out in Vegas. And that's it. Like, I just looked up to Christine and then we had our huge falling out and then we made up and then we like, that's just me and Christine's thing. Like, we're friends, we're enemies. Like, we're both doing the same thing.
Maybe
we both piss each other off sometimes.
Just people playing telephone.
I don't know, but I thought that was ridiculous. And then I don't know why I kind of got really freaked out. Like, and there's nothing wrong. Like, I have like a lot of gay friends, lesbian friends, nothing wrong with that at all. But I did get kind of nervous at one point in time because a lot of people were like coming up with like these rumors about me like kissing girls or something. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't really see where this is coming from, but whatever. But I had that cool undercut. I love my undercut.
Oh, yeah, for it.
And I was like, maybe I need to grow. That's what I'm going to grow on my undercut now.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
I got hit on by this girl in a grocery store one time and I mean,
was it a stud?
Yeah, it was totally a
What's
stud.
up, girl?
And they were so nice to me. I really loved it. I really loved the exchange of our conversation. When she asked for my number and then texted me after, I realized,
this is
just I thought we were just being friends, but whatever. Anyways, I was like, I'm really growing out this undercut. I can't do it anymore. I fucking love that haircut. But anyways, yeah, but I really haven't heard too much. It was on steroids one time.
You were on steroids?
Yeah, and I was like, I took that as a high compliment. I was like, well, I am getting these guns.
Okay.
Because I'm like the least, and I don't care. This is what it is. We all have different body types.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I work out. I can do 1,000 abs every day. I'm not having a six pack unless I'm eating salad every day. And I don't want to eat salad every day. So I don't mind not having a six pack. It's not a big deal.
What's your walking around weight right now?
Like 122. Yeah, 122. And I eat whatever I want. Like, I don't, I'm naturally like healthier stuff,
Or I'm double that.
But I don't really do anything crazy. But yeah, anyway, so I'm like, dude, I'm never really jacked. I think a couple times I've looked a little better where I'm like, whoa, look at Britt. She really worked hard. So that's cool. But I'm not really a jack type of person.
Yeah.
So for them to say I'm on steroids, I'm like, oh, I'm like really working out. Like,
all right, I'll take it.
This is cool. I was like on the treadmill every day drinking some juice that juiced up every day. Like for 6 weeks, I like got a kick out of it. It was so fun. And that rumor, I like run a lot and I've never really PR'd from like my cross country time in high school, which was like 22 minutes and 23 seconds. I've always been trying to break that in my adult life because that was my high school PR time. Never have until that rumor came out that I was on steroids. So I was like, every day I'm gonna run on the treadmill with the juice. And I chose the juice every day. And then in that period of time, I ran like a 21 minute, 50 seconds. I was like, yo, I might be on the juice. And I was like, yo, I was like so motivated by it. So like, cause I wanted to look, vicious when I was doing the videos. I was like, yeah, juiced up motherfucker. Because the rumor was that nobody runs on a treadmill a day before their fight unless they're on steroids. And I was like, that's the stupidest
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
I see every fighter, like, we're nervous, it's like, you can't just stand still. Like, I know some people just sit in their room and like, save your energy. But if I do that, I'm going to be like sleepy. I'm going to let negative thoughts enter my mind. Like, the best version of me is the one who keeps the 2 feet. Like, I got to keep moving. I'm not like really crazy doing anything, but I wasn't even on a treadmill. I was on elliptical, that whole rumor.
What music are you listening to, like leading up to a fight?
It changes every fight. I'm really big on that. And one weird, like, I don't know, I hope it's not prestige is crazy, but some people look at me funny when I say it. I choose one song and I listen to it
On repeat.
on repeat over and over and over until it loses its value or its meaning. Like if I listen to it and I don't feel anything from it, I'm like, oh,
Time to move on.
this isn't for me. But there'll be some songs, depending on what's going on in my life, that just, man, you can't hear it enough.
Right.
And it's on replay and you just really got to get that. Like, this is my anthem for whatever situation, whether stupid breakup, being hurt, being criticized, no one thinking you're going to, whatever those areas are, music touch on big time. And I'll gravitate it to a hardcore to where it will make the hugest difference again in like my ability. Like if I ran on a radio playlist, I would be like, but if that song comes on, man, like Jelly Roll right now, oh,
God, dude, I
Jelly
can't.
Roll,
I
I'm
just
like,
can't.
Oh, you just
you
killed
don't
him.
like
Bro,
Jelly
my
Roll?
wife loves Jelly Roll. I saw him eat his boogers or wherever award show he was. They have him on camera doing this. And I was like, look, he sucks. And I can't.
What if you got $10,000 to do it?
Well, he
I'll eat
definitely,
my
he
boogers.
definitely did get
I'll eat my
$10,000 to
boogers
do
for
it.
10,000.
Yes, that was super in the same.
Yeah.
Shit, I fuck with Jelly Roll. He came out with Limp Bizkit when I saw them, so he's all right with me.
His songs right now, that's like, I don't know. I'm just like,
I was listening to on the way over here to
Madonna.
Well, that was yesterday.
let's get physical.
I got in his car and he was listening to
No, I was
something
listening to Lucky Star by Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
Starlight, so bright.
I never listened to
That's all.
Madonna in my life. And now that I don't know, this happened like when I was 38, 2 years ago, I was like Madonna, Sade. And I was listening to Kiss of Life. My Sade. Then my wife's like, what are you going through? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She's like,
That's what I
He's
said.
like-
I got in the car. I'm like, are we fucking?
she's like, are you going through a stage? I'm like, okay. Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Oh, I love it.
See, we went from getting canceled to being uncancelable because
So
we
funny.
support everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I like some weird songs like She Blinded Me in the Name of Science.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yo, right?
That's a
So,
great song.
I listen to that song all the time. And I swear to God, I'll be listening to it and be like, yo, I am walking out to this song.
You don't think
I am so doing it at one point in my life. And then when it goes down to discussion, they'll be like, yo, so are you going to walk out to that song now? I'm like, this time's not right. It's not right.
you don't think that guy killed himself?
Oh, that's sad. I did
Damn.
not know that.
He jumped out of a rooftop.
Man, see? Crazy.
I might be making that up.
Oh,
I don't
damn.
remember that was somebody else.
Confusing him with the Jonas brother.
I'm like, wait, are we being funny right now?
There was
Like, fuck. Well, you never know what someone's going through.
I think he did though. Yeah, I think he did. I think it was him.
Damn, well, like your song sparks genuine joy into my heart.
It is a
Every
good
time I
song
listen to
though.
it.
It's a good song.
Yo, I'm always
Or-
like, I lift weights to that song, like just a couple days ago. Like, and it's been for years that I've been on this whole mission. I have like a whole 20 songs that,
Just on
Oh.
repeat.
well, more so than repeat for sure, but I have like a legit, like I just pull up, what songs to walk out, like possible walkout songs.
All right, which
and
one?
they're all over the place. Like I got like Titanic.
Oh shit!
I'm like,
You can't come out with that.
like I'm wondering, yeah, I'm like, man, I always like don't ever get if people understand my cries for help. But a lot of the times it will be through music. And yeah, it's like I'm waiting for someone to be like, are you okay, Brad? Like, trust me. But if I'm listening to some gangster shit, oh, I'm on my, like, I'm ready. But if I'm listening to sad or depressing or inspirational, like I walked out the funniest song ever. People probably don't get it, but the kids loved me for it, which is cool. It's all, different market. But it was the Hercules song, I Can Go the Distance.
Oh, that's a great one to come out
Right?
to.
Which one is
It's a
that?
great song.
The main song from Hercules. Like, you know how every Disney movie has like the Mulan one.
I never
I'll make
saw-
a
I
man
never
out of
saw
you.
it.
I've often dreamed
I've never
of
saw
a
Hercules.
far out play. What?
I know.
Oh,
I know.
yo, I'll cry. When I listen to that song, I cry. Like, seriously,
Yeah,
cry.
Disney has some bangers.
Man, it is such a powerful song to me. So I'm like, this is it. I'm walking out to it and I'm all in my moment and everyone's like, she's like, gonna go bye.
I'm sure you.
What? Like, I don't know.
No, I'm sure you low key got like a ton of fans online for that because I see people like recommending music all the time, and it's always like left field shit.
Well, so many, like,
Really?
barely people message me on my walkout, which really pisses me off. Because if you really want to get under on my good side, or like, yo, just be like, yo, I love that song. Your walkout was so cool. I'll be like, whoa, you noticed? Like, yes, someone paid attention. But rarely people get it. And that's cool. It's fine. It's not for them to get, I guess. But with the Hercules one, so many moms messaged me.
Really?
They're like, yo, my kids are freaking out and bugging out. Where is that song from? Like, we've been sitting here talking and trying to decide where we know that song. And I'm like, it's Hercules. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then the other song that everybody loved, that's why I'm like, yo, I like to rock with Disney sometimes because you remember, what was it called with the 101 Dalmatians, but Cruella.
Yeah.
Remember when Cruella came out? And that soundtrack is fire. Like, they have the coolest songs ever.
I'm going to sit back on this.
Every song.
I don't know.
Oh, it's
You got
so
you
good.
got to get cultured,
It's
dude.
like
'Cause, like,
Chicago. Like, it has so many
but
good songs.
all that shit's coming back too because they just made the 101 Dalmatians movie. and then-
Remastered? Or-
no, like live action. Now they're going to make the Hercules one. So
Oh, I
it's
can't
going to
wait.
hit again.
But there was a song on there that was the Feeling Good song. And I'm feeling good.
Oh, I know that song.
Classic song, right? I love the song. Song's super cool.
That came
But I
from.
heard it because it was in Cruella. And I was like, ooh, this song is so freaking good.
Oh, okay. So they use it for that soundtrack.
Yeah, the new
Okay.
Well, I walked out to, because when I fought, it was in the same pivotal, like, timing is everything. Like they say, location. Timing beats everything. Because it was so close that I walked out song. Everybody was like, oh my God, you're my daughter's or my son's favorite fighter ever because you came out to that song. No one would have known what that song was years ago. Like,
Nope.
they only know it from Cruella because it was such a big, epic song and pivotal moment in that movie that it's super recognizable.
Yep.
So they'd be like, yo, my daughter just loved that you walk out to the Cruella song. I'm like, it's a Cruella song, but it is a song. It's on Cruella.
I'm still stuck on Moana. On
Two?
no, on the first
Oh,
one.
the first one?
Everybody told me that part 2 sucked. I don't know
Oh,
if it's true.
The Rock is going to play his character live now.
action.
So that's why he's not going to be at Mania.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched. Well, I didn't really get to see him, so I'd be lying if I said that. But I was filming in the same building as him
Ooh.
Oh, that's awesome.
in Atlanta because they were like, "Did you know The Rock's here?" I was like, "What? Really? No way!" And they're like, "Yeah, he's next door filming Moana live action." And I was like,
Did you get a glimpse of him?
"No."
Rock.
But I did. I'm not gonna lie. Like, usually that stuff doesn't faze me, but I was like, every second, I was like, no, he's not there.
Shit,
All right,
he
any minute now. No.
he used to live out here. You could have seen him just randomly at gas stations and shit.
That's what people say. When I was in California, someone pointed out Cher's house to me. And every time I went by Cher's house, I would always be like,
She was still living there?
yeah, apparently that's
shit.
what they said. Like a cute little house in Malibu. But I was like, every time I just couldn't. It was, there's some people that are like just iconic like that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to encroach or stalk them, but you're like, I hope they see me. Hi. So
Oh, man.
dreams and goals. But yeah, so music replay definitely fuels me.
All right. So if you were to have a fight in the future,
If
you already have a song in mind?
yeah, totally. I think I have I have an arsenal of songs. I'm like, well, if this happens, I'm walking out to this song. If this happens, I'm walking out to this song. And I was real, it's funny actually with Taylor, because me and Taylor Starling are one of those great stories that we're friends and then clash and we're friends and all that stuff is not for media. It was real. And right now we're really on like a really good path. Like I
Okay.
really, really love Taylor and all that beef is squashed. But prior to then, I hate her and I knew that fight was happening. So I would hear a song. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of her. I'm putting it in that Kill the Bee playlist. So I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. But then I thought, that song No Rain, where there's that bee that walked around the bee costume.
Like Blind Melon?
Yeah. So I was like, yo, so gung-ho about coming out to that song just because it was Taylor. and doing like the whole thing and wearing the bee costume and then taking it out.
Oh shit! You should have did it.
Wouldn't it have been so cool? I think it would have been epic. Yo, I would have lost shit if I saw someone come out with a bee costume.
Yeah, 100%.
See that's all fighting someone who's a bee, and I thought it was glorious. I was like, yo, ta-da, this is my 1 million followers now, and my whole team was like, don't do that, absolutely not, fuck you. And I was like, what? Like, dude, that is corny as shit, Britain. Da 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 da. Like, you're a fighter, you're a badass, you're a #1 champion, you're undisputed. And I'm like, yeah, damn it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get in Johnny's ear to start hyping you up to do something crazy.
Right? Yeah, he's the one. And so you can tell. I'll tell him too. I said so, but I was so, and he has to deal with. He loves me though, I know, but he definitely has to put up with my crazy shit. And he's like, oh god. But I'll come in and be like, isn't this a great idea? And he's like, no, it's it's a terrible idea. I'm like, what? Really?
Those are the best ideas. That's when you get your moment where like,
right,
all of a sudden you're on everything.
And that takes courage. Like, that takes badassery to walk out in a poofy bee. Like, who's doing that?
And then you whoop someone's ass?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And again, it was when the same coach, well, I didn't get to bring him to this particular fight because there's a conflict thing, but we're still in cahoots and really loved. So when I won the fight, I did this weird twirl in the ring. And he called me. He said, congratulations on winning your fight, but I'll never do that fucking dance shit ever again, Bray. I was like, what? I said, that's so cool. I said, it would be such an insult to me if someone whooped my ass and then went over and did like a cheerleader move. I'd be like, oh my God. But, or that girl who can't jump rope. Like, I'd be like, man, like, it sucks. And so I like the dance. I did that little dance move like for 4 fights just for that kind of reason to be like, it's kind of silly.
To stop recording?
Yeah.
Did it
this
really?
is still recording, so we're good.
We can tie it in with like,
yeah, 100%. Like, you want to see the rest? Go on the audio.
I like that.
It was my one retard moment. I didn't plug the backup battery in.
We haven't been recording at all.
No, we have. It just stopped like a minute ago.
We got to do this all over again.
I was
where
about.
do we stop all that?
Yeah, I was about to hit the wrap up moment anyway. I was waiting for Ricky to unload his chamber.
All right, yeah. Because I could. Now that you guys, now you're like, oh, it makes sense. Everyone says that, like, look, you'll get Britain if you talk to her for just an hour, but she can fucking talk. But I'm like,
that food's for you, but
in that person. Oh, really?
I can take home, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That was, these people brought it out.
Oh, that was nice. They close at any weird time.
So,
no.
So thank you for sitting down with us, Britain. Well, you've been on our radar for a minute. Ricky has been dying to meet you and, for completely innocent reasons, but
the real fan.
No, for real. He mentioned you to me like a while back. We were trying to get El Gallo at one point. He's like, "How about Britain Hart?" And I'm like, "I don't follow bare-knuckle too much, but let me look." And he commented on your thing, I think, and then you responded, and that's when I was like, "All right, well, let's DM her back."
It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
He framed the shit out of that DM. He printed it out and everything.
He put an emoji.
Those are the things, though, that even if it's funny or joke, even if it's a joke or real, I like carry those things. It's a nice, it's a real, it's the thing I'm looking for the most.
It was when you almost murdered that girl.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Melanie Shaw.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You almost killed her. and after she's like, it's a great fight. And I was like,
oh yeah, Johnny showed us the picture too. After that fight, we were like, yeah.
And I'm over there being an asshole, like, but it was funny.
You take very little damage.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. It was like zero.
And all your fights, you have your cuts, but you look a lot better than all those girls.
Right. Well, thank you. Because I was like, that was with the Taylor fight. Oh, I got this little scar here, and you should have seen me in the locker room. It took me about 20 minutes to come down from my adrenaline rush off of it. But I was like, man, it fucking sucked. Like, I got cut. I'm not, I didn't do my best. This was supposed to be my best performance ever. And I fucking sucked because I let them touch me. But then when you see other girls, I would never take that away from them. Like, what a good fight. Other fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great, it happens. It does. But I really do try not to. And they could pay me a lot more and it would be,
would be acceptable.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks, Britain, for coming out. We know you're busy training and doing all your stuff. We really appreciate the time and whatnot. Where can the people find you online?
I keep it simple and sweet and somewhat short, but Team Britain Hart on anything that I'm usually on. Although TikTok, I heard, just got banned. So
it's unbanned.
Oh,
but you can't download it right now unless you already have it or something like that.
Man, isn't that so crazy?
It's back and forth. Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Well, I didn't get the app update, so it won't let me install it. And I'm really upset about it.
I've still got it, unfortunately.
Damn. But anyways, well, if you do have it, you can let me know if my videos are still up there. It would be nice. But Team Britain Hart, I'm big on Instagram comments. So if you really want to talk to me, comment, hit me up. And I check and read all of them. And I really try to heart it just to show, like, maybe I don't have time to like say anything back, but it does mean something to me.
Yeah, it means a lot to people
I heart it that I read it and that, just know that I absorbed it. But definitely comment. I'll probably try to get better at my DMs. And Facebook, I suck at. I don't have a YouTube
Is
channel.
that still around? Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got one of those too.
Facebook is like an emergency. If I'm like, oh shit, I need help, then I'll be on Facebook. But if I don't need help, I'm like, life is good. But Instagram is definitely the place to be. And it really helps me out. It's one of the only things that like really makes fighters money when they're not fighting.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
Guys, like seriously, I wouldn't.
Yeah, show some love.
I wouldn't say this. It literally is zero. It costs you zero just to follow someone.
Yep.
And you can even follow fighters and then put that little tab, like you don't want to see their stuff. Yep. Like say fighting isn't for you, right? It's too gory. Or say you don't like the whole like sexy photos things, whatever. Like you don't have to unfollow, like just say you want to unfollow their posts.
Yep.
And you can still follow them because just your little input of like, hey, they did one thing good in their life, follow them. Because it translates into money and numbers and success
big time
later down the road. So I can't say that enough. Like when I see people that say follow me or a fighter, I might not even know them or really care that much. Like there's nothing wrong saying that, but I know what it means to them and follow them. Even if I don't support their ideologies or beliefs, they're trying to be the best person they can. It means a lot and helps so much. So for athletes and artists and local businesses, small businesses, those are where they like pull big time. So yeah, if you could do that, that's why I'm hyper focused on Instagram for a reason. It would help and be super cool.
Can you follow us back?
She already did.
Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, I didn't because John.
I was going to say ditto. Like, please.
Yeah, he told me about the artwork. He says, "Have you seen it?" I said, "No."
Oh, it's awesome.
And he was like, "I was like, man, how did I not see it? They didn't tag me." He goes, "Yeah, they did." And I was like, "Oh." Huh. And I go in and I'm like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And I made sure I went and followed. But sometimes we need that push too. But I'm really good at that stuff once you get on my radar.
Yeah. We didn't hit you with the follow us, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I just did it. I did it on my own. Credit.
Yeah, thank you so much for the time. It's a great episode.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys.
You good, Ricky?
It was a great episode.
Yeah.